Sorry, my first thought was keyboard clacking sounds. We've got taglines.
We got taglines.
And I didn't know how to be like, click, 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 click. We've got taglines.
Type cookie. Type cookie.
Cookie.
But we do have taglines.
Yeah.
First, hack the planet.
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet!
Yeah, that's still a thing that people reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother
So is
referenced
the
it
pool,
today.
but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Their crime is curiosity.
That was an easy target.
You can go for it. Go.
That was a lot of people's crimes with me in college. When you're in the Midwest, you've got nothing else to do except sexual exploration.
Here's a follow-up. Their only crime was curiosity.
That was not the only crime
No,
in
there
those
were
bedrooms.
multiple crimes.
They
Yeah,
also
they actually
crashed
were.
a Wall Street server for like no reason. Like that.
Boot up or shut up.
Oh, there we go.
What, like just turn on your computer?
And
Like,
we're into that.
I thought I legit was like, yes, they're platform boots. I understand.
You thought your secrets were safe. You were wrong.
Ah! Oh my God.
I'm just trying to think of what secrets I would have had in 1995. I'm like, I stole the neighbor's backer to his Game Boy because I lost mine.
I just upgraded
Damn.
to the
Yeah, it's
big
really
boy
mean.
toilet. And that's...
Didn't want to tell anyone I was 8.
There is no right or wrong, only fun and boring. Wow, if ever a tagline has hit the nail on the head.
I mean, this movie, yeah.
It's literally fun scene, boring scene, fun scene, boring scene.
And I think there is some right and some wrong. A lot of wrong.
I don't know.
though.
I don't feel that the main characters were as righteous as they're supposed to be because they just kind of stumbled on this like embezzlement scheme by accident.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, well, might as well be good guys. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And last but not least, mess with the best, die
like the rest.
Like the rest.
That one was kind of okay, but I was like...
That one really applies to this movie
Yeah.
in comparison to every other film in 95.
Yeah.
With a budget of $20 million and a gross of $7.5 million. That's rough. That's real rough.
It's all those graphics.
I didn't have a lot of rundown for this, so here we go. 1 breast, 6 hacking sequences, 1 flare fired at an innocent person, and 3 Fisher-Stevens skateboarding scenes.
And countless bad haircuts and styles.
There you go. Like that Italian chick with the spiky hair for no reason in the montage,
Yeah.
they call. Yeah. With a 6.2 on IMDb, a 46 Metascore, and a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 1995's Hackers. Let's drop some bombs.
Time to put the pedal to the metal, as I believe the saying goes.
Go gadget, oil slick.
Eat 'em up, eat 'em up!
Come on, you son of a bitch. Is that all you got, huh? Come on, let's see what else you can do. You talking to me? Huh? Are you nuts? Come at me.
You're not being nice. Fuck you! This is the best time I've ever had in my entire life! Do you hear me, world? My entire life!
Welcome to Bombs Away, the only podcast recorded inside a projection booth. My name is Jonathan Young. Joining me inside the studio, as always, is...
I'm in. Jarrett Seifert. That's the only thing I can think
How many
of.
times do you say that a week?
I'm in. Not as much. It's been a dry spell, but that's okay. We all get through it. There will be a monsoon soon.
Ooh, okay. Wow.
That threw me for a loop.
Okay. And also joining us inside the studio today, a very special guest. I'll let him introduce all his credentials as we go right here. Please welcome to the screen.
The studio?
Please welcome to the studio, Walter Thornburgh.
How's it going, guys? Happy to be here.
Yeah, sweet.
All right.
Nah, Walter Thornburgh.
Or it sounds like like a railroad tycoon that got into safariing.
I want to hunt the most dangerous game.
Man.
Or like a bad guy from Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
My parents decided to give me like the name of like a 1940s Jew for some reason. Like, they couldn't give me a modern sounding name. They were like Walter Grant Thornburgh. Now that's a name.
There it
He's
is.
going to be president one day.
He's going to be president if he time travels.
Yeah. He's
Was
going
that- if someone-
to catch the polio.
If someone came out to me and was like, Walter Grant Thornburgh was such a great president, I'd be like, yes, the 13th one? I don't know. Who?
No, Walter Thornburgh the 13th. He's
Oh my
the,
God.
yeah, you know, like it just gets up that
Which Friday
far.
movie is that?
Oh. Thornburgh
That was
the
bad. That
13th.
was a really bad string.
Yeah. So
Tangent.
Yes, welcome to the show, Walter. Now you have been listening for a while,
oh yes.
right?
Sorry.
So sorry.
Oh no, I
right?
love this show.
Thank you. No, thank you. And you attended the live show.
Yeah, I
as
did.
well.
It was great.
Oh, even more sorry about that.
Yeah, so we
I had a
apologize.
lot of
so much
boxed
fun
wine.
there.
Whoops.
I know Jared got drunk. I didn't really drink until I was
I
on
know
stage
you
that
had
night.
that. You had that cup of beer next to you that went untouched until you were off the stage.
I was paranoid because, dude, let me tell you, from years of DJing, I used to get sloppy. And so I was like real paranoid that I was just going to embarrass all four of us up there.
I just had no shame.
I know,
I
like,
think
here
I
we
yelled
are.
at an audience member. I was like, I'm the one with the microphone.
All right. Well,
But you have your own credentials. You perform on stage as well.
yes, I perform right here at the Frida Cinema where Bombs Away is recorded. I am the co-host of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I also am the sexy naked man in tight golden underwear.
It's probably my favorite thing that you do.
I do a couple other things. I have a YouTube show called Asshole Patrol that I update intermittently. I've had one whole viral video.
Okay.
Thought that
but
was
it
a
went
porn
viral.
Oh, yeah.
site.
That's awesome.
I was the #1 post on Reddit for
Heyo.
one gleaming day.
Good
Hey,
deal.
You know, some people are still trying that, like us. You know, like
And yeah, I'm also 1/3 of the rap group CGB, that stands for Cum Guzzling Beasts. My
it's so funny, honestly.
my rap alias.
Why does everything you do sound like a porn site?
All right, Asshole
Like
Patrol.
Asshole Patrol,
CGB, I mean-
gumming, guzzling bees. Like,
Yeah, Big Dick Charlie is my my rap persona.
8 years. There's a hole that you've just been digging,
I don't give a
or
fuck.
doing something else with.
One
I
of
don't
these
know.
days, my parents are gonna find out what I do. Like,
Oh, they
like,
haven't yet?
They're like they don't know. Like, as far as they know, I'm just like this stiff who
You've
like
got
works
as many-
in 9 to 5 in finance. You know.
You've got as many aliases as everyone in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
This
was
is Big Dick Charlie coming in for the hack.
I was also a teenage hacker. Believe it or not.
Oh, no.
I'm not making this up. I used to do like script kiddie hacking, which is basically where you hack computers with software you didn't write yourself. I did this back in like the Bush era, back when Anonymous was really active. I used to really be into that shit. So
Just so you know, he's talking about Bush Jr.
yes, I wasn't alive during Big Bush.
Wow. Just digging this hole.
I was like, these are like.
Big
You're
Bush,
holding
baby.
the target up. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
the Big Bush era.
Okay.
God, sophomore year was rough.
I
Didn't
love
even
Big
shave.
Bush. Just put that in my face.
Okay, so
It's going to be a surprisingly sexual episode, I can tell.
My
tell
parents
us.
are gonna disown me.
That's fine.
We had a guest whose
just
parents
come on in.
listened, and they were like, so Tyler, you talked about bukkake?
What's
Really? That happened?
His parents were like, ah!
I googled that and
Yeah. So, question for you. I'm not going to get into the show yet because I want to hear more about CGB.
CGB, yes. So,
Okay, so how did it come about?
It's how they
Like,
create graphics on computers.
so yeah, me and my friends, we were starting to make we were gonna make a trap metal band.
Okay.
And I know, and
It's like, how does that work?
had a trap. I'll just look it up. Bone Crew is a great trap metal band if
it's
you're
just,
curious.
it's
But
just a lot of Hyatt.
so while we were like midway through recording one of our songs, we decided to just kind of like take a break and make a song as a joke about just just a song about sucking dicks and just
get
as
it.
a goof.
Just a big fat joke to you,
Yeah,
huh?
and we posted this song on the internet, and it was so much more popular that we decided to drop the trap metal project and just make CGB. And we're performing live October 7th at the Legacy Room in Chino.
Okay.
We've also performed at Chain Reaction in Anaheim, so there'll be more shows to come. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. You can get our album for free online. Just look us up, CGBOC on SoundCloud or on Facebook, and listen to horribly offensive rap about drinking cum.
Is it all white guys?
Yes.
Well, one is Corey from Thanksgiving episode.
Okay.
Did you want to like a little bit more diversity in there for like?
No, I love hearing about that because we're both two white guys, and the most diversity is like I've sucked a dick multiple times. Like that's as diverse as we get. We don't even have like and Jewish. Like
I'm Jewish.
no.
Yeah, it's in here. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, we can move on from it, but
That's
yeah.
like when the Hispanic guy at our work said that his kids had the day off because it was a Jewish holiday.
Yeah.
And I was like,
fuck it, I'll
why do you
take it.
talk like
Yeah, right.
you're from Mexico then? Like I was so confused.
Right. So, yeah. Now that's kind of the origin. Like, where are you guys gonna go next? Like, because you've
he
already
just told you about the second concert.
Right.
That's where they're heading.
But like, because you already, how many songs do you have like out?
We have a full album out. On that album, we have let's see, like 12 songs.
Wow.
We actually have a 13th song. We just released a single on. You can find it on our Facebook if you want to check it out. So I guess.
And you have a music video too.
Yes, we do. We'll have another one coming up. Coco for that Loco. It's a song about how much we love For Loco.
Okay.
I drank it once and I could like feel crystallized sugar in my joints the next day. I was like, ow, ow. Like I felt like I had gout.
What I find
So bad.
what I find interesting about it is that whether or not you guys are like, oh, this is intended to be a joke or this is intended to be serious, like it is definitely in this vein of being like, this is what people will watch, like to be entertained in any way, shape, or form. You know, like you have captured what I feel is like this viral generation, you know, when I watch this video.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh yeah, you're rapping about these things that like it's so interesting to me to see that I'm like, oh, this will take off with the right shares, with the right like people will be like, have you seen this? And you'll be like like you guys are the next what's it, Jerky Boys, you know, like like literally just rapping about whatever you want. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be fun. I really hate that right now. Like the trend with most rappers is to be just like a really pretentious, lo-fi rapper who talks about being sad and doing Xanax and wanting to commit suicide. I'm like,
Just say Drake.
I just want to talk about sucking dicks. Like, like, fuck this sad boy shit. Like, let's talk about Four Loko and like.
No, you're right.
Party.
Awesome. So, we'll at the end of the show, we'll ask you to like get all your social network and stuff out of the way, and
absolutely.
we'll do that. But so what we like to do when we have a guest on is we say you guys pick the movie, like you know, and as long as we're not, you know, holding it for some special event or anything like that, like we're like absolutely. So when you're like, hey, can I come on? What was the first thing that you suggested?
The first thing I suggested was Galaxy of Terror.
Okay.
But I love that movie. It's a great B movie. But I thought that it was kind of too much of a deep cut. I wanted to pick a movie that people have. It left enough of a mark for people to be at least superficially familiar with it. Whereas, like, if I say Galaxy of Terror, like nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's way too geeky.
I didn't really even know myself. I was like,
As like a B movie critic,
we're in our
you didn't
second
even know.
season.
It just sounds like a haunted hotel floating in space. And I'm like, yeah, I could watch that. Like just Tower of Terror, like, woo.
Oh, so it's what it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hackers kind of left a mark culturally. Like, people recognize those taglines like, mess with the best, die like the rest. You
Right.
know? Or like, hack the Gibson. Like, those things
Hack
are
the
remembered.
planet, sir.
Despite its, like, 7.5 million box office gross, which is brutal.
That was domestic. I couldn't find worldwide.
It has some
but-
cult status. But
yeah.
I remember.
That's what I saw online. and
To
I
be
was like,
fair,
it does?
okay, so
All right.
Frida played it like 6 months ago.
Really?
Right? Bombed here too.
Whoops.
I remember seeing this movie for the first time. It was playing on TV when I, like, you know, years after it had come out. I was like 11 years old.
Oh yeah, this is definitely like an HBO or Showtime movie.
Yeah,
like
and I was just like, God, I hate this movie so much. And I didn't watch it again ever since then. Now, like, you know,
So why now?
15 years later, I just like
Out of
snapped
everything,
up,
out
and
of
I was
everything that you could have picked, why this one?
I hate this movie so much.
Okay.
It's so fucking
good.
terrible. It's a movie made by people who don't know how computers work to like mystify other people in the 90s where computers were brand new, to be like, oh, the science box.
Oh yeah.
What's funny is someone in one of the reviews that I read was like, I'm so glad they made a movie with someone that understands how computers work.
Yeah.
Which I was like,
Okay.
do they? Why? Like, I don't think computer screens actively project onto your face.
Yeah, nor do like formulas just kind of dance around while you're coding. Like,
Yeah. Also, was he code? I don't know what's happening in half this
yeah, they're
movie.
just kind of like randomly clacking computers.
And then
while
she's like holding a
magic
sword.
happens.
I was like, what? I don't know.
Yeah. So, let's get into it, guys.
All
Okay,
right.
let's get into the plot point for plot point. See if we can make sense of this one.
Got our
All right.
notes.
So, you got notes?
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
I do.
First off, we're introduced to like FBI is storming into somebody's house, right?
Yeah.
Mom's making breakfast, and they storm right in, and like for some reason they really, really want to drive home. That they're like, we don't want to show who it is. Like,
Yeah,
let's
it's
have
a
you
mystery.
assume.
They have that like choppy slow-mo style that obviously wasn't recorded with a high-speed camera,
Yeah.
so it just
Yeah.
looks like.
Well, like, even from that point, though, it was like, oh, a kid did the hacking.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't expecting, like, modern day, like, some dude in his basement, like, with, like, a giant
Yeah, they.
super gulp
It would have been
next to
better
him.
if it
Like-
was like if. So basically, they arrest the kid. You don't see it's a kid, and then as the court sentence is being dialed out, you see it pans over from lawyer to lawyer to lawyer to then finally the camera's like, oh, it's too high. It's a kid, and it pans down to the kid. Right? Would have been better if it was a woman, because this movie is very sexist.
Oh, extremely sexist.
Right.
Oh, it is bad.
Be like, you didn't see that coming, woman, huh? But no,
she's just my girlfriend.
Women Yeah.
can play video games. That's impossible.
oh my god, that whole scene is ridiculous.
We'll get to it.
Also,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
poor boyfriend that
So-
just got left behind.
My favorite part about this like whole court sequence is that you have like the judge is kind of there, just kind of like this person possesses a superior intelligence that he uses for evil. You know, and
He's
she sounds like
also-
she's like hyping him up as like a supervillain, and he's like 10 years old. And the fucking weird thing about this movie is that like computer hacking is apparently so easy that like high schoolers can do it with like proficiency, and yet. It's
No.
never established how anybody ever learned how to code. Like, this kid's parents don't know shit about computers.
No, well,
His teachers don't know shit about computers. He just kind of is like, I'm a genius. I can hack Wall Street at 10 years old.
I feel like that always happens in computer movies where they're just like, he's just naturally brilliant.
But
and I'm
just
like,
smart.
that
Okay.
doesn't make you good at
So-
typing computer language.
You
I
gotta
took a
learn
whole
how
class.
to code.
I failed a whole computer class, so I know what I'm talking
happened
about.
I happened to look up and do some research about this film,
Oh.
right? And I have to give credit. There's the oral history of films that How Did This Get Made actually does. There's a person that's like a fan that like actually kind of has his own side podcast now of interviewing people of the films that they do, right? And figuring out actually answering that question, how did
Like
it get made?
what we did with Cheryl.
Yes, right? So they actually interviewed guys that made the film, and we're talking about where they interviewed actual FBI and being like, yeah, we in the 80s literally could not figure out how kids were doing it. Like, kids were doing it. So it's like actually based on a little bit of realism in that sense of being like, yeah, the kids were literally just picking up whatever and figuring out, and we're trying to figure out how they got into our system. It's like, yeah, you had a bad system.
I like to imagine it was also a lot easier back then.
Yeah, like computer
Like-
security was like unknown. Like you just like type code to like run a certain program, and you'd be in. You'd be getting
Yeah.
it going.
Like
Because there was no security at
Yeah.
first.
if I
right?
could have a 3-lettered passcode, that's
3
a
to 4
joke
letters,
today.
that's all you need.
Like
Oh yeah,
their
now,
password was just
now
God.
it's like 26 characters with a exclamation point and your mother's like first
something
born.
uppercase, something lowercase, a number, a symbol.
But
Like
I
you have
get
to
it.
include it all.
After
like,
this film, I get it.
yeah.
You can't just have God, right?
Also, like, who has God?
Yeah, who's like sex?
Which is like the one like good joke about the film. They were like, all the chauvinists will have like make their password God.
So,
Yeah, he gets convicted. Then the judge is like, and I fine your family $45,000. And I was
Right?
like, it's his fault, not the family's.
Yeah,
Damn.
but I mean, who's gonna?
Can he really charge a 10-year-old $45,000?
Yeah,
in
that's why I was
1988.
Oh yeah, because the dad's like, my God, we're broke, which kind of happens like 7 years later.
Also, though,
mom and son, like they've gotten a divorce. Mom and son have moved to New York.
Yeah.
And she's like, we had to sell the house.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. $45,000.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were not doing well to begin with.
Well, they had to replace that front door.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty pricey.
It's a $40,000.
Yeah. Also, the judge in this sequence, it looks like he's been through, like, one hell of a court case. He's, like, unzipped his robe, and he's just like, I sentence you to, God damn it. Like, this was after the OJ stuff, so, like, you can imagine that, like, trials went on for a long time after that, because they needed to be televised, you know.
Media.
So, we're introduced again 7 years later to Dade, right?
Dade. It's
Played-
like Dave who gave up halfway through.
She was really high
Dade.
naming her
You're
child.
Dade, which is played by Jonny Lee Miller, which I don't know of anything else that he did.
So
He's in Sherlock now.
Really?
Like the new, what is it,
He looks
CBS?
completely different.
Yeah,
He
oh,
looks like a
Elementary.
daddy now. Look at
Yeah.
him. He's
He's very handsome.
Like-
and
Yeah,
he
but-
kind of has a, what's his butt, a David Tennant vibe.
Oh, he's in T2 Train Spotting.
Yeah,
Judgment
because he's
Day.
in the original Train Spotting.
I think he was like 23 when he shot this movie, which is crazy because like it looks so weird seeing this like guy who's 23 years old trying to like pull off playing a high school student.
He is 23, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Matthew Lillard was
From
the oldest of the
England.
group at 25.
Yeah.
And then actual, what's his name?
None of them really look like high school.
Except for, who was the one that was actually 16? There's
Joey.
actually,
Joey,
right?
yeah.
So, Jesse Bradford, which, like, we know now from, what's it called? Is it? Yeah.
That was him.
Yeah,
Okay, because for a
Bring It
second I was
On,
like,
Swim Fan. He's the lead guy in Swim Fan.
I was like, it looks like a knockoff Jesse Bradford.
No, it
but
is
then I was
Jesse
like, oh,
Bradford.
it actually is him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He plays
Cool.
Joey, the little wannabe hacker who hasn't gotten a what's it called?
A handle.
A handle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I need a handle. It's like, just make one up then.
Yeah.
Like, that was weird. Like, he needs another hacker to, like, crown him a handle.
Well, it's like in the deaf community, you can't give yourself a sign name. Like, someone has to give it to you.
That sounds
It's
like some
true.
elitist
It's really
bullshit.
true.
It's like, dude, I'm deaf. Just give me a break. Like, just give.
Well, no, it's like, it's for people that like start signing and learn the language, and then it's like, oh, like I want to become an interpreter, and then like, because basically everyone has their own name, but you don't want to spell out the full thing, so it's like
Right.
you have to get a shortcut, basically. But it's like a designated thing, and usually it's like a joke or something.
So,
Yeah, so they're in high
Dade
school.
is in his bedroom hacking away, even though the judge sentenced him to no modem,
Jerking
no
off.
computer.
He
right?
just got off that probation. It's 7 years in the future, and it was a 7-year sentence.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it said to his 18th birthday. So are we assuming
he's
he is
18,
18,
yeah.
just a senior in
He
high
was
school?
he was 11 in the
like
first
I
scene.
was.
Yeah.
Like, I was 18 in
A lot of
March
people
and then
are.
graduated in like
Yeah,
June.
that's where he
Yeah.
is. He's like halfway through his senior year. He
Okay.
just turned 18. Now he can hack away.
You can hack away.
Immediately, as soon as he gets a computer again, he's like, "Ooh, I'm not rusty at all."
Right? But,
I was
but
like, what, was
also,
he practicing at the library?
Computer
Jeez.
security hasn't changed at all.
Yeah.
but also, let me put on these glasses while I hack in
Oh,
the dark.
God.
What is
it
with
made me
these
so
glasses
irritated.
in this film?
Yeah.
Get
Okay,
off the screen,
I
Blade.
do. To be fair, though, I did wear the same like circle, like '60s John Lennon glasses when I was this age.
What
Because I
about the
was
ones
this
that were
age.
like a size of a dime on each side?
Yeah. Well,
with
no, not
purple
those small. I had
lenses?
the big ones. Like I had the actual very '60s style, right? I thought it was
John
cool as
Lennon.
fuck. I was not, but
We know.
We know.
We saw the pictures.
Yeah, no, nobody's seen those pictures because it was like one summer. This is summer camp. I'm the coolest, but I didn't wear shit like this. That's the funny part, okay? So you have information on this.
So
right?
this was right towards the decline of the Club Kid era in New York, which the Club Kid era ran from about 1985.
Like the Party Monster stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It did come from Party Monster because Party Monster, that's Michael Alig, James St. James. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name.
That's fine.
Amanda Lepore
too.
That's where
surprised.
RuPaul came from as well.
Oh, okay.
And so basically the whole thing ran from the 1980s, the late 1980s, or about mid to about 1996. So this was like right before it all got shut down because of Mayor Giuliani cleaning up the streets.
Fuck Giuliani.
I know, everyone always hates Giuliani. He ruined the fun.
He ruined the
But
Club
still
Kids.
do. Don't worry about it.
So basically the Club Kids, their entire thing was like, do whatever, wear whatever, because like it's unique, it's you, you're different, like cool, whatever. You can show up like covered in fake blood and just walk around naked. Like that's like in one scene there's a guy dressed up as a chandelier.
Yeah.
And he's wearing it on his head, and I was like, do it. Like, so that's where a lot of their fashion and style comes from.
Okay.
Air quotes around the word style.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like
It still
just
all
because
looks
you
bad.
can dress
Yeah.
this severe, should you?
But I think a lot of it also was because it's like, it's New York, and that's what those kids know. And that was definitely like, even high schoolers were very deeply into the Club Kids scene.
Well, these aren't real people. I think it's just that the film directors just wanted to like show the audience that they're like, these guys are futuristic.
Yeah, well, that's
Look,
why-
this guy's got pads and this person's wearing a chandelier and they're like,
Which you're not wrong. Like
And his
it's
stupid
like
army
all
vest.
primary colors, baby.
Yeah.
right because this is Hollywood's version
Well,
of this kind of scene.
So it would be more of a cyberpunk Club Kid, but like there were like legit high schools in New York were participating in this.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of like the New York norm,
Okay.
like
Okay.
of the time, because it's like it was something to do. It was a way to be like accepted as whoever you were, like whatever like could go down would go down. But then it started turning into drug use, and that's why it kind of got bad.
I love
Also,
how-
Michael Alig murdered a Angel. It was really bad.
Wow.
Got really dark.
Oh yeah, that's in the movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I love how
Ugh, freeze.
4 years later, everything in this hacker kind of thing transitioned to what they thought is the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
just
I
like
know, I was
we
looking
still
at a
wear
lot of
dark
this.
glasses, but now we're like in leather and trench coats and
It's
weird
like-
shit like that.
Mid 90s to about mid 2000s was just like fashion decided to go into shit land.
Oh no, I loved it. If
Yeah?
I could dress the way that they dressed,
Like
Jinko
Ashley
jeans?
Tisdale.
dude, the male crop
I mean, you
tops,
can.
the like, you
Those
know,
are coming back.
Dude, crop tops are heavily featured on this
the
show.
motorcycle pads that they had, even though they didn't
That
ride
was
motorcycles. Like hell yeah, I love that.
The
shit.
weird like hunting vest that he had that had like 2-inch Velcro to connect it
No, dude,
together.
that like weird
Oh.
fashion. I was so into it.
Wait, the Ronald McDonald vest
yeah,
that he had,
and
like
it's
it's
got
just
like the pocket, the cargo pockets.
it's
on the
all
front.
red, but it has the yellow zipper.
Oh,
and
you're
it
talking
just-
about that. I was talking
Yeah.
about his camo one that he wore on the first day of
Okay,
school.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he gets to his first day of school, right? And so he
Right.
like can't find the principal's office. I don't know. Everyone's mean to him. For some reason, he decides to talk to the one person on a payphone. Like there's a bunch of people around him.
Who's like, hey
Dade,
man,
and he's
chill
like,
out. I'm
"Hey,
talking
can
to
you-"
Venezuela. Like,
But also, like, don't talk to someone on the phone.
Right.
That's rude, asshole.
there's people passing by you left and right.
Also, I
and-
think this is the first movie where I was like, no one's attractive. I couldn't even find, like, a saving grace of this film.
I'm
Dade-
sorry. I would have sucked Phantom Freak's dick. Like,
The knockoff,
Nah.
who's the creepy beard guy from Hunger Games?
The
Is that who he is?
creepy
The
beard
knockoff?
guy?
What we talked about his name
I don't.
earlier.
Wait, creepy beard guy. Oh,
yeah,
you-
Fisher Stevens. Oh, I'm thinking of the play. You're talking about Freak. Wait, which
Yeah,
one's
he's
Freak?
talking about Freak, the Venezuela guy that we're talking about right now.
Oh, he was okay.
No,
But he is probably the most gay character, I will say that.
Oh no, he totally was. But he reminds me of the one person we've talked about him on the show before. He's shoot, he was in a movie that we did. It's I'm gonna miss it now, but Taylor Negron, right? So I feel like he reminds me of him. Like he was in Angels in the Outfield.
Oh, why does he look like an off-brand, The old guy from Community. Well, now he's an old guy.
Chevy Chase?
Yeah, he looks like an off-brand Chevy Chase.
He looks like an off-brand Chevy Chase.
Yeah, look at that photo.
Okay, well, this is weird because, like, probably his most memorable film is Nothing But Trouble, which I looked up, which stars Chevy Chase.
Hi,
Probably
audience.
one of the most famously horrible movies of the 90s.
Well, I've never heard of it, so much for famous.
It's awful.
Put some air quotes around that one.
It's a cocaine-induced Dan Aykroyd-ridden film. Like, let's put it that way.
Shit.
So anyway, that's what I thought he'd look like.
Yeah.
And so he meets Angelina Jolie. Jolie.
Yeah, well, they're like hacking.
She's French now.
Jolie. No,
On his
that's-
18th birthday, he gets a computer and he starts hacking into a TV network to play.
Oh
like,
yeah, and
Yeah.
that part where he's like, his mom knocks on the door and be like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm hacking a television station." It's
She's
like
like, "Fuck
not
it."
the joke you should be making to your mother, who literally just had to sell her house because of your
You
problems.
just came off probation for this yesterday, and you're like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna hack into a TV station." And it's like,
But that part's so dumb. For what? Just to get your own programming?
he just wanted to put an episode of The Outer Limits on, and
That's
like,
weird.
Yeah, and like,
Right.
and
if you
for
got a
some
love for
reason,
TV.
Katie, Angelina Jolie's character, it happens to be hacking the same station at the same time as him.
Right, but you don't know it's her yet.
Yeah,
Right?
but they just
it's
start
just
like,
an
well,
alias known as Acid Burn.
It's not that
Acid
she's not hacking them because we don't find out till later.
That's just her
but she's
turf.
protecting it. She's like, "Hey, you're hacking me," like, and she's like back hacking.
Is
Reverse
she
hacking?
just like protecting TV stations for no wages? Just like, I'm
don't-
doing information
Well,
security for no reason.
But I don't even think she's protecting it. She was
Yeah.
just like, "Hey,
Waiting to
I
hack
hacked
it,
this for
but-
my programming."
Yeah.
That's what I feel like it is,
Yeah.
right?
I'm not part of the Asian twins.
Right?
Who have
And I
mostly
like
control.
the guy who's super racist that's on the channel right now.
Yeah, right. They had like this random, like comically over the top racist guy
Oh
being
my
like
God, it's so
Negroes
bad.
and Mexicans off of a mediocre genetic
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
and
so
I'm like,
bad.
What station
he's
is
doing-
running this? And,
This
and Kate-
station's running eugenics.
yeah, I know. And like Katie's like
Well, it's
protecting
just
this
Fox
guy.
News Channel.
This is my turf,
This
and
is
I
my
like
turf.
it.
But the weird thing was, I was like, wow, this is still on Fox. Like, this still actively happens today.
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
Angelina
no.
Jolie,
Yeah.
who is the daughter of John Voight. So it all makes sense.
Yeah.
So
What a bad haircut,
he goes
too.
to what her?
Sorry. Oh, God, it's so bad.
No, I.
It's like a half-assed bowl cut.
There's a because
Except the bowl is
I
one of
wrote
those
in my
shitty
notes,
bowls that's
I
like
wrote-
kind of just a plate.
yeah, I wrote I once again I don't find her attractive at all.
Not in this
Neither
one,
did
yeah.
I, but
I've
that's cool,
I've
whatever.
never found Angelina Jolie attractive. Like it's so weird. I'm like
I could
she
see
just
why
looks
she's
like trash
attractive.
to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Insert
know.
like in Tomb Raider, I was like, yes, get it.
Well, she's the only female hacker in this movie, so you don't really have a choice.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't have another female character other than the
The
highly, like New York accented partner of Fisher Stevens. The
Or
villain.
the other two moms, where the moms kind of still look the same age. Like Joey's
the
mom.
mom.
They didn't
Joey's
age.
mom looks like a high school. Like they went to like what is that? NYADA, like the New York
She's
Academy
like
for Arts
22.
or something.
Put facial
Yeah.
cream on her, and
They
that'll
were like,
cover it up.
do a really big like teal eyeshadow and put her hair in like a scrunchie, and she'll be old.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
No,
really
you're
bad.
not wrong. So, Dade.
Talk like this.
Yeah, she did talk like that.
Walk like this.
So Dade, another thing is, his mom is like worried that like he isn't meeting new people, and he's like, "Mom, I'm still a virgin," and like I'm like,
Oh yeah, the
"We
masturbation
know."
joke. Yeah.
We
This
know.
guy is so open with his mom. He's
I need
like,
so,
I'm jerking off. I'm a virgin. I'm hacking computers.
Yeah.
He's
He did look pretty good though, but also like, not like I was a late bloomer, but I did not have that much chest hair in high school.
Yeah,
and like
I couldn't
senior
believe
year
that
of
any
high
of these
school.
characters were high schoolers. They all look like they were in their early to
Well,
mid 20s.
It wasn't even like, oh, there was a scene and he has like the little tuft in the middle. It was like he never took his shirt off, and you could still see chest hair poking out from underneath it.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, not a high schooler,
Yeah.
not anymore.
So
I'm
he
26 and I'm still totally barren. I don't have a
You're
single hair.
lucky. I can never play Rocky because like,
Please
that would
don't.
be a whole different movie if I played Rocky.
Don't touch me.
Like, You're
At
really,
all.
really dirty.
Rub my fur, my surly fur.
Ew.
Yeah, right? He's
All right.
just fully a man already. I don't need to make him a man.
So while they're like counter hacking, I love the way they do this because like the people writing this obviously didn't know how computers work, so it just kind of shows them like
No, not at all.
furiously slapping computers while like formulas and like weird graphics just explode over the screens.
It's like E equals MC squared and like pi and like
The
just
quadratic
weird symbols.
equation.
Two hackers are
Alpha
just
and
kinda-
omega.
Yeah, they're just kind of like hacking each other and sending each other these taunts. There's these like animated texts
So that's another
that take
thing.
up the entire screen.
How do you have
Mess with
time
the
to hack
best.
but still throw digs at people?
I know, well, like they're just not throwing digs. They're also like throwing these like outrageously animated, like flowy psychedelic colors in there, where it's like a real hacker would just send a line of text. If anything, they'd probably
Yeah.
keep their mouth shut. But like with this, they're just like they're like pushing it on the theatrics to the point where it's like anybody
Everybody-
who's ever operated a computer.
The VHS robots are going mad.
Oh
They're
yeah,
like,
everybody's
"Meow."
just totally attacking the other person, like throwing digs, like it's literally an online match on Xbox Live.
There's like sword
Like, it's
clashing
just-
sound effects and like gunshot sound effects while they do
Pew,
this.
pew, boom, pew.
I loved it. It's so stupid.
It was so bad.
It's
There's
also
like
because
dinosaurs fighting at one point.
okay, why is there also in this movie like every single time like we see into like I guess his mind, but this goes away too. It's just like he sees Angelina Jolie and like a million television flashes of like love and like sex and things like flash on the screen, right? And then like there's another thing in which like after she like tricks him with the pool thing, which we'll get into in a second, right?
Well, why don't we just get into it?
Yeah, but I just mean like I want to finish this point. Is the pool thing? It gets flashed that like now she's the enemy, so there's this like flash of this old like it's all public domain images
Yeah.
too, like of all footage that they could get. But why does that happen and then that goes away?
Yeah.
Like why is that even in the film?
Yeah, I don't even know what they're trying to entail by it. I think they're just going to be like, computers! The science box
Yeah.
is going crazy, guys!
Technology.
But so he meets Angelina Jolie in the high school. She's
like
also the
his
person.
student guide
Yeah, where
for transfer students. I
shows
guess?
you around.
Which worst choice for that?
Yeah,
Jeez,
right.
At least pick a nerd that's like nerdy. I don't
Like
know.
you.
Yeah. I would love that role.
Jared's
like
the trainer at
Jared,
work.
you have to like
We
show
get
new
it.
people around the high school. I'd be like, okay, show off. Like,
Yeah, right. But then another guy comes up and be like, "New kid, tell him about the pool." Right? And she's like, "Fine, I'll tell him about the pool."
The pool
Right? And it's the old pools on the roof prank, right? Which to me, I feel like after this movie came out, god damn it, if like at least in my schools, like people would try to pull that. You're like, I saw the movie.
they tried to pool that.
To the pool prank.
We actually did have a pool in our basement of our high school, and
Mm-hmm.
we found it once, and it was terrifying.
Like, what was it, drained? It wasn't used anymore?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, there was also another time.
Looked
which
like the
was-
Queen Mary pool?
No, it was really weird. So we would like, because we had access to our theater, which had access to the tunnels underneath. So we were like going down, and we like peeked through this door, and it was like an all white room, and there were people like working on computers, and they saw us, and then they just closed the door, and we never saw that room again. It was weird. We were like, "What the fuck?"
You just got pranked, bro.
We were like, "Oh my
The
god!"
old pool in the basement prank where you get your throat
It was
slit.
scary.
Serial killer.
But it was also
and
just like
acid burner there.
Storage, like old
Yeah.
desks thrown
Weird.
in corners.
That was that was where? What state?
Missouri.
Yeah, that's still there.
Yeah,
So little does
Snorad.
Dade,
yeah.
little does Dade know that Kate, the pool prankster, was acid burn the hacker all along.
That's right.
He doesn't. When does he end up actually finding out that it was her? It's
Oh,
like
way
later. right?
Yeah.
Like so basically, now because he has a crush on her, he hacks into the school computer, changes their classes like a super stalker, right? Which makes Freak, which is like he is a major hacker of telephones. Like that's his thing. Right, which I didn't know was a thing. Like I always thought, like the best hack that I could do was like you call collect and like they're like say your name and you're like Mom, come pick me up, and like that's it. So like he's actually hacking, and apparently this is real because like what was it? Who's the Razor and Blade? right?
Yeah.
Are two mainstream hackers who are like sharing their hacks with the world.
They have like
on
an
television?
unlicensed TV show,
Right?
that's- yeah,
But also like making it public information to the point where you're like, well, then maybe like 1-800-COLLECT is going to figure this out, or the pay service.
Yeah,
like
not
maybe
that
you shouldn't
smart.
share it
Yeah.
worldwide on a broadcast that seems to, I don't know, be on the main screens of New York Times. Like
that wasn't until the very end where they broke in.
I thought that
deliberately.
was just normal for them.
No, they would like.
as Times Square
Yeah.
like screens. Okay, so they went way beyond.
Yeah,
our
that was
normal
when they had to
public
like
broadcast.
expose the villain. We'll
Okay.
get to that later.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, Phantom Freak notices him hacking into the class.
Right.
Which I think is funny because when he gets into the class, like Kate sees him and she says to the teacher, like, he's not enrolled in this class, and the teacher's just like, he looked at the new kid who's like, he's never seen him
Yeah.
before, never been notified by the administration that he's going to be
Right.
there, but he just kind of is like, he's on my list. My
Right.
computer says he's a student here, even though it's halfway through the school year and I've never seen him once.
Well, he's
But-
a
but
transfer
also-
student, so he's probably got like the whole transfer
right,
thing of
that's
like, oh,
more
it's just a new
believable
student.
than what happens immediately after in that same scene of like. He doesn't know who Matthew Lillard is. And I'm like, I feel like every teacher by your senior year is like, I know that kid.
Yeah.
You know, like, especially somebody like Matthew Lillard in this film, right? So Matthew Lillard is
He's wearing a crop top over like a spandex shirt
Fuck
with the
yeah.
elbows cut out.
I'm about that, man.
Like,
but also pigtails.
yeah.
And
Braided pigtails.
goes around with the name of serial killer.
Serial killer.
right?
Like Fruit Loops.
But his real name is something else. It's like it's not Eugene because that's Fisher Stevens in this film, but it's something else, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "And who are you?" And
Oh, this isn't woodshop, and
Yeah.
the kid just like books it
like,
out of there.
we all know, like, if I was a teacher and I saw a kid like that, I'd be like, I know, get the hell out of here,
Like,
cereal.
with your disgusting braids,
Yeah, 'cause that-
and your creepy sunglasses. You know?
Okay, minus the braids and the sunglasses and the outfit, pretty much everything. That was me, literally, if I had a free period, just sneaking into other people's classes and waiting until the teacher figured out that I was there. Like, I swear.
You would go into other classes
I
you
would-
didn't have to be in.
I would go in there and I would sit in the back and just everybody be giggling because they know I wouldn't be there. And it was for the attention of, like, the other class,
Oh,
right?
you were
a prank,
attention
bro.
starved?
Ah, weird.
And now I have a podcast.
Right? I know, right? And I would, the teacher would be asking questions and she'd call on people and I would raise my hand and, they would call on me and I would answer it and then it'd be like, wait, what the fuck? Get out! Like, it would happen constantly because like I'm saying to prove my point is that like by your senior year, teachers kind of know who you are. So I would catch them off guard because they'd be like, what's this and that? And they'd be like, John? And I'd be like, I'd answer it. And they'd be like, that's correct. Wait, what the fuck? And like, it'd be like a double take and it would happen constantly. So like, for them not to know who this person is, I'm like, it's totally not believable.
Were you crushed you didn't get class clown in your senior yearbook?
I told you that story on the show already. Didn't I?
Did you get class clown in your senior
No, I didn't want class clown because
That's too mainstream.
It was weird like that, right? Yes. I was like, turn it into like class actor. And they were like, okay. And I got class actor. Then I got pissed at because they wanted to keep class clown as the title because like it's like classic, you know, right? And I got pissed because I was like, that guy's not a clown at all. He sucks.
He's just an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So like I wanted both by the end of it.
Oh no.
Well, I didn't because what was it? Like historically speaking, if you look at like some of the people, like what was it? Adam Sandler got class clown, and I was like, I don't want to be him, right? Like somewhere along the line, Adam Sandler transitioned for me. Oh, don't go there.
You're like, you can see me like
I know.
pulling my arm back to throw the joke. Like,
I know.
mhm.
He transitioned from like what I really liked him in Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore to now annoying by the time
Yeah.
Waterboy came along. So I was like, I don't want to be like, cause that's the kind of thing that they describe. They're like, he was class clown back in the day. So like, look at him now. And I'm like, I don't want to.
So hackers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after
Oh, come
this,
on. Like, that's the worst tangent we've ever been on.
No, but we got off on a lot of tangents. We're at like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're right.
Because 30 minutes into it is when Joey gets arrested.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like after this
Yeah.
prank, they invite him to go to Cyberdelia, this hacker nightclub.
Which apparently all these scenes were filmed in Europe?
I could buy, dude, because like I remember watching this movie and
Europe's
seeing
crazy.
this nightclub. Like, the fact that a hacker nightclub even exists is impossible to believe. And two, this place was too fucking cool for a bunch of computer geeks to have as their hangout. Like, people were just like
they
skateboarding,
were rollerblading into this pool,
around,
which apparently is a historical landmark, and they had to restore it to like its original after doing this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't actually a nightclub anymore.
They're playing arcade games on this like 20 by 20 foot screen that's like
There's
over
so
the
many
top.
projections. There's a
People are
projection screen on the
dancing.
ceiling. There's like
Club kids, man.
so much shit
This is
going
just
on.
way too cool to be a hangout for computer nerds who like eat Hot Pockets and vape and shit.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's what I feel like the writers were like, hey, what's cool? Well, kids love rollerblades,
Neon lights.
and glasses,
mannequins.
and video games. And also this weird connotation that like
smoking inside.
oh yeah, or smoking with two
cigarettes at once.
Oh my
I
god,
was
yeah.
like, ugh.
I know, they come back. He sits down in Phantom Freak with
He's
the
16.
phone hacker. He's like double fisting cigarettes, like one in each hand. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Nope.
What were the writers thinking? They're like, this'll look tight as shit. This
Yeah.
kid's gonna be just smoking like a chimney while neon lights and
He's
lasers.
gonna have cancer so young.
Jesse Bradford now has cancer. So that the kid we're talking about is Joey, right? Who's the kind of wannabe hacker. He doesn't have a handle yet, and he hasn't hacked into anything substantial in their eyes. So he's not a part of the group, but he's allowed to hang out.
Meanwhile, at the club, Dade challenges Kate.
Yeah, it's Kate,
to a
Angelina
video
Jolie.
game thing, and it's like it's like an iPhone game you would get for free today.
Okay, so it was
It's like you're a
actually
spaceship
Wipeout
shooting
from PlayStation
balls.
1.
I thought that was a jet ski game.
I thought so too. Apparently, they changed it to what it
To
this was-
F-Zero knockoff?
Right. No, this was the original build to Wipeout before it came out, and they allowed them to like use it in the
because Wipeout came out the same year as this movie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And this was like the original build, and apparently they changed it to water and I don't know, like a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, you're so right. F-Zero knockoff.
Yeah.
But he immediately, like, he has a crush on her, but he immediately is just like, you know what? You're pretty good for a girl.
Oh, sick burn. And that's funny because like when he first like saw her score and he was like, that's a pretty good score for a girl. I thought it was going to be one of those like 90s like cheesy girl power moments where he just can't beat her high score and she'll be like, yeah, 90s girl power.
Nope.
Spice Girls fucking dabbing on him, But like instead he's just like, yeah, I'm better at you at video games and
Right?
hacking.
And also
Fuck you.
then does it, like, and she's like, that's fine, I'm gonna go fuck this guy
I know, right?
upstairs.
There's just like this cool, like, hot guy that she's like, well, you're real good at video games. Now I'm going to go get laid, which is something you've never done. So
Her
Yeah.
boyfriend wasn't on screen enough for me to tell if he was hot or
he
not.
was a handsome guy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
He was
Did he have
Chad.
like purple hair?
No, he was pretty normie looking. Like, everybody else looked really funky, but he just kind of looked like this
He did have
chiseled
like
jog.
red pinkish hair.
Did
though.
he?
Yeah, he did.
I thought that was like the neon lights or like reflecting. on
Nah, because like there's a
Or
scene at her
computer
house
screen shooting.
when
around.
he's
Oh,
like,
you're right,
he's like,
you're right.
God, again with this computer shit.
and the
Right?
last time we ever see him.
Yeah, you never see him again, and she's like, I'm totally down to make a bet in which I go on a date with you and probably sleep with you.
I know, right? She's just kind of like, yeah, I'll fucking cheat on my boyfriend for a bet. Fuck it. He's barely a character at all.
He doesn't even care about hacking. So
doesn't
like, why
even-
should I love him?
He just likes boobs, not even computers.
right?
Gay.
Which I happen to just show all the time.
So,
yeah.
Joey decides that he's going to prove himself and hack like the mega computer. What do they call it? The Gibson.
Hack the Gibson.
Yeah.
That's where you start?
I know.
Well, no, he says also that like he was like, hey, guess what? The other day I like hacked into this ATM like that's
Oklahoma.
across state lines,
They're like,
right?
you can't hack across state lines or the FBI will get involved. And I'm like, that's definitely not going to be a plot point later.
Well,
Yeah.
But also like, so you're telling me is that what really went down? Is like local jurisdiction only if you hack within state lines?
Yes, if you commit a crime across states, like involving like
Well,
commerce and stuff like
well,
that.
I believe that, but I just mean you're mean to tell me that like in this like weird like no lines drawn like world of hacking, like in its first 5 years, like the FBI wasn't directly involved in all hacking.
That's actually true. Like that's,
really?
Yeah.
They were just like meh,
Well, because,
small
like,
potatoes.
If you commit a crime across state lines, you automatically involve the FBI. Otherwise,
Well, I
you'll
know
have, like,
that.
local jurisdictions will take care of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
With fewer resources
Weird.
than the FBI. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's actually true. Of all the bullshit in the movie, there's like that one true thing. Is
Really?
that's how you get the FBI involved.
Because I felt, I don't know. To me, I would have believed that, like, in this, like I said, it's like uncharted territory. I would have felt like the FBI would have been involved at all times at the beginning. Wow. Because I know that they, like, what was it? It was 87 is when, like, they started cracking down on hackers in the actual United States. So I just thought that they were just like, let's figure out what else they're into, and like getting involved. It's kind of like Catch Me If You Can. Remember that? A good
great movie.
Yeah.
In fact, we should review that instead. That's a good movie.
I mean, I wouldn't have much to say other than
sense.
Amazing.
10 out of 10.
Right?
Put those planes in that bath water and steal the stickers off of them. That's all I remember from that movie. My bad.
So,
what are we doing?
so they're at the cyber rave. They're gonna hack the Gibson, which okay. So Joey's kind of the one who sets everything off with his reaching too close to the sun, because he almost hacks the big computer of the oil company.
So there's an oil company that has a major computer that basically GPS controls like no pilots or no crew
Oil
anymore
barges.
of oil rigs. Well, not rigs,
barges.
Barges, right? And he hacks into this computer and just for proof just tries to download their garbage files. Right?
Yeah.
Which is basically just like, that's their trash bin.
Metadata and bullshit that's not important.
Doesn't matter, but it would at least like prove to the other hackers like I did get in, right? So he tries to do that, but apparently the garbage files are so big that like it's the next morning and he's like asleep as it downloaded.
No,
and they were able to trace
it's that
him.
night.
They catch him. They catch him doing
in the
it,
process.
slow him down, and then his mom is like, "You gotta go."
They
the
slow
fuck
him
to sleep."
down?
Yeah, they're
okay.
like tracking him. They're like, "Oh no, this one user has like the workload of 10 users. This has to be a hacker."
Well, I know that part. I just meant like.
And then his mom is like, "You have to go to sleep, Joey," and she shuts his computer down while he's got like 75% of the files.
It just looked like morning in that room.
Yeah, she just. He had to go to sleep, and his mom ruined it all.
He pulls out the floppy, hides it in his ceiling, and then like within 4 hours or something, he's being arrested.
Why doesn't any police or FBI ever check the vents or the floorboards in movies?
Well, I mean, it's not like technically they can't, but
Plot
kind of
devices.
technically they can't. They just got to arrest him
can't?
first. Well, it's
No,
like
if they
a
have
warrant
if they
to
have a
search
search
and the
warrant.
warrant out for his arrest. So if they
Right.
just had the arrest warrant, I don't know if they could actually search.
They did
as
search him
well.
because they took his computer.
Oh yeah, they seized. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they just took his computer and they're
They
like,
probably
"This is
just
what we
didn't
came
think
for."
he would be, because he was a 16-year-old. They're like,
Right.
what can he get?
I just mean like it's a trope in movies where
Yeah.
like they always hide it in the floorboards or the vent.
I
Where
don't
like
know.
if I was a real police officer in like today, I'd be like, "Did you guys check the vents?"
I'd be
And
like,
they'd
"I've seen
"Oh no, we
hackers."
didn't." Yeah. Did you check the floorboards? Always check the floorboards.
I don't know. I could buy it
You know?
because they seized his computer and they're like, his computer is what we came for. We're gonna look in his computer for
Right.
it. So whatever.
So now we're introduced now that
plus he didn't tell him that he downloaded their garbage files, because what
Sure.
we find out, the garbage files actually contain a worm that is slowly eating away at like small amounts of budgets and then rerouting the money that it eats into an offshore bank account.
right.
So
and
that was contained in the garbage files, but they didn't want anyone to know. So if they brought up that it was in the garbage files, then they would, the bad guy, what's his name?
okay,
the plague.
that's where I was going to go
That's-
next.
yeah.
Is like,
Right,
okay,
so,
so
that's how he would get found
Fisher
out.
Stevens.
Plague.
Yep. Call me the plague,
I love
which
how
nobody does.
His girlfriend calls him. She's like, "Are you awake, Eugene?" And he's like, "Don't call me Eugene. My name is the Plague."
Oh, that's Penn Jillette. It calls
that's
him like
right.
that. So Penn Jillette is in this film for some reason.
Well, yeah, the
right
magician.
from Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
right. And he really has nothing to do other than to like be at like expository dialogue,
Yeah.
right, to explain to the audience what's happening in the film.
Yeah, why Penn Jillette?
I don't know.
He's just like the incompetent computer security guy versus like the bad guy. What was the Plague?
But he's
Yeah,
also
like-
smart. He's like
Go back to your comedy statistics.
Go
I
back
don't
to
know.
your
What is he
podcast,
doing?
Penn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
He has a super successful podcast.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. I know, not us. No, his is amazing. And then he just did that whole diet that pretty much like changed Kevin Smith's life, like the whole like vegetable diet or something. That made him
Paleo,
lose.
sure.
Well, it's not paleo. No, it's something completely different.
A new meme. I can't handle all these diets.
Right? But apparently, like, Penn Jillette did an entire book, an entire diet that like changed his weight and saved his life, and then has like gone on to like be the same thing that Kevin Smith recently did after his heart attack. So it's so interesting to see somebody in like a piece of shit like this, right? That has like a career outside of this, and it's
Playing
like, what were you doing?
The like dumbest role. It was such a strange thing to have like a magician play, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, he's like the computer defense person, but he knows nothing about computers.
No, he actually
He kind of did, where he was like, I'm suspicious of
He
this.
knows
'cause,
like the minimum of
one user shouldn't have this like data flow. He might be a hacker. So then he calls the serious guy, which is the Plague, and I fucking love this
Fisher
character.
Stevens is amazing, right?
Okay, this middle-aged man who fucking skateboards everywhere. This man is never not seen without a skateboard. He slings it over his shoulder. He fucking skates around the office. He skates into the computer room with it. And like they are like they work inside of the Gibson, which looks like fucking Tron. It's so over the top. This like fucking 47-year-old man just skateboarding through like this Tron landscape. Like fuck yeah, I'm gonna hack some shit.
It's
I'm
more
the
like
Plague.
It's like Tim Burton's version of Tron.
Right,
It's
but
really like the lighting is like.
But like with 47-year-old skateboarders,
wacky.
Oh my god! I have a note. I have a note here, but it's literally for the next time he rides in, where I was like, Fisher Stevens on a skateboard, like rolling out of a dark alley and stealing a hard drive is like the best scene I've seen in a
He's
long
like a ninja on a
So
skateboard,
bad.
and he grabs onto a car for momentum and disappears behind like a plume of New York, like
he's
subway
Marty
station
McFly.
gas. It's amazing. It's
Okay,
so
so
Fisher Stevens in the fucking house, the
So-
best fucking character in this whole movie. I love him.
he's like if remember Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
Remember like the like villain character who's like the programmer of all the video games, like in the Matrix like vest and everything. Like it's like him if he worked for that company for another 20 years and like got a beard and longer hair, right?
Dude, I love him. He's like flexing on all
JP,
these
my
kids.
name's JP. That is Fisher Stevens in this film because like he presents this like air of cool that isn't really cool at all.
Yeah, because
No.
he's too old for that.
Yeah.
Which is great because he's just flexing on these kids. They're trying so hard to have like unique style. And they're trying to like, you know, dress really cool and have these cool handles. But he's like, my name's the Plague. I've got a leather trench coat. I skateboard through an office, motherfucker. You like...
Meanwhile, like the rest of the people are just suits who are like,
Right.
I don't know what he's talking about, and I guess there's a virus. Yeah, whatever you need, whatever much money you need to take care of
Just
it.
deal with the science box. Just...
Right? So as Jarrett was explaining, like the plot, or at least basically what he lies to the suits about, is that like, hey, some hackers got in and they tried to like basically hack our boats in order for them to capsize and cause a global like
oil spill.
like disaster, right?
3 or 4 of the boats, and they have 26 total. And they're like, "Well, which ones?" They're like,
We
"We
don't
don't
know which
know."
ones are
Right, he doesn't want to
Yeah.
destroy the planet fully.
Yeah.
Just, like 4 or 5
Just like
different areas.
inconvenience that planet.
Right?
Like it's a real inconvenience.
Which
really.
is also interesting is like this came at a time where like oil spills were a thing.
Yeah.
Like it was the
mean,
Exxon
they still are.
Valdez
'cause,
disaster in the
they were
90s.
Like, it's like GPSs were like brand new technology back then, and then like people didn't really know how to deal with errors
Right?
with them, and like it was a hot topic. But it turns out this virus was just like a
It's
cover.
a ploy,
Yeah, it's
right?
a cover
Well-
to distract from like the worm that's embezzling like tens of millions of dollars.
But also, it'll be a scapegoat for
It's
them
doing the
to
exact
blame
same thing
the
as Office
kids.
Space,
Yeah.
where it's just little like picking
Yeah.
little like
it's
parts.
called
Why was this?
salami slicing? Is what
Is that really?
Yeah, it's called that because
Wow.
yeah.
You hacker, you
Teenage hacker.
salami is slicing.
I'm not kidding. That's what it's called.
Now I want a charcuterie board.
Why is everything so like coded in sexuality?
I know.
Salami slicing.
My
Please
favorite
don't.
thing about this, though, is that he has this big plan to like have this virus be a cover-up for his salami slicing worm, and he decides to. I know I'm digging myself a deep hole.
Keep going.
But so he decides to pin it on the teenage hackers. But the thing is that he had this whole big elaborate plan, but he didn't even know about these hackers until Joey tried to get into the Gibson. Up until then,
who was he going to blame it on before?
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna pin this on the hack. What hackers? You didn't know about them until this like dumb kid was trying to download your garbage file, and you're like, "Fuck it, now my plan is complete."
Especially because it sounds like later on in the movie they're like, "Oh my god, this worm has like a timeline," like, and they're like, "It's gonna happen in 2 days," and you're like,
"Yeah, it's like."
Well,
he didn't even know about you guys.
My only thought is
that
he was going to blame it on a rogue hacker that they just like didn't know the identity of, and then he was like, "Oh, well, this kind of fell into my lap," and he was able to blame it on people.
Okay. I mean, I'm all right with that explanation. Yeah. Like, but you're right. Like, it's one of those things where like, did you think it through? Yeah. Like, you're so overconfident in this film. I feel like you probably did.
Elaborate plan that involves like total coincidences of like.
So during this meeting where he presents like, oh, it's these hackers. Like, he presents like a visual representation of the Da Vinci virus. Which is like an actual human being, right? And I'm like, who filmed the Da Vinci virus?
You got this actor's like, you look like the Vitruvian Man. You want to say some spooky stuff, and I'll like distort your voice a little bit and make you look a little creepy, you know? And be like, I'm gonna tip over oil tankers if you don't give me $5 million.
The line is $5 million. Or, you know, like, oh, sorry, yeah, right? It's like a hungry actor in New York.
Oh, gosh.
Like, who was on Off-Broadway, and he's like, come here and film the Da Vinci virus, like, thing. It's so weird, because it's like, it's not like he's a graphic artist. It's not like he, like, animated, like, that is a real human being filmed.
The whole plot of this movie could have been nullified if, like, this actor decided to turn this guy in, where he's like, "Wait a minute, I know that guy.
I did something like that."
Filming lines for this. Yeah, when the Echo disaster actually happens, like, I remember saying I would capsize some boats. Like, I thought it was a really weird audition reel.
I thought it was a screen test for a movie, but he never called me back.
Really pissed me off.
He made me call him the Plague. It was weird.
Oh my god!
He roller skated right in, into the audition
old man
room.
Just roller skated and wrote me a check for $500 and told me to pose for this. I don't know.
Feels disgruntled because he knows the guy got $5 million.
Yeah.
The check bounced.
Now Joey, it's the next morning, and Joey is showering with headphones on that are wrapped in plastic.
Not how you save electronics, but okay.
But also, like, has this ever been a thought in anybody's head? Like, I don't even bring my...
That's just what hackers do, man.
Yeah.
Come on, get with the program.
Like, just listen to a stereo next to the...
We put Ziploc bags on, and we...
That was so weird.
Yeah.
It's like saran wrap on top of, like, you know,
it was
90s...
like, that's still not going to save it.
Walkman headphones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, why? That's
Desperate.
not cool,
I
right?
know.
But then the police, like, come in, the FBI, they barge in, and they steal him out of the shower.
You see his butt.
You do, because, like, he has this weird, like...
Weird butt, I know.
Well, no, he has this weird... Yeah,
Butt.
it is weird, too. Like, there's no butt.
Wasn't he 16?
Yeah, he was 16,
it's kinda creepy.
so you deal with that.
No.
No, but he has this weird thing that I, like...
Oh, he's uncircumcised.
Yeah.
Shut up.
No, this weird thing where it's like...
Foreskin.
Where kids don't realize the trouble that they're in, and they're more, like, worried about the computer that's being stolen. Like, no, don't take my computer!
Lucy,
it's
that's what he called it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, don't take Lucy.
What's also interesting is that, just like the kid who's 10 years old, like, he's not gonna really get charged with anything. He's 16. Like, I find it still weird, we didn't bring it up, that, like, the kid was charged with anything. You know, we said that a little bit, that the, like, you know... The main character was charged with anything.
Well, I mean, it is technically a federal offense.
I guess so. Are you? Well, then you'd just go to juvie, right? I don't know. I wasn't a bad kid.
These people aren't real anyway.
I was a nerd.
Just do whatever.
Right?
So, at this point in the movie,
Where are we?
no, we're at a point where they're watching the whole we mentioned it before, like Blade, Razor and Blade show, right? And but they're also watching they're watching a newscast, and this happens before they break in, right? This is weird. This is some like Tarantino shit, like in the film, right?
Yeah.
Where they're interviewing Agent Gill. Right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, he's like, hackers are a threat to the society, and they get into everything, right? And it's literally a shot of the woman interviewing him on these stairs, right? And then they're watching that, but then the scene of them breaking in to and getting Joey, right? Arresting Joey happens, and then it's shown from a different angle, the same interview. Did you see this?
Yeah, so I took it as that interview happened before or after Joey got arrested, and then they were just showing it from a different perspective.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, why show it in reverse? Like, why not intercut at the same time? It was really weird because I'm like, to me,
that was really confusing.
Does he just do the same interview everywhere he goes?
This guy just walks around like, these hackers, we gotta stop them. Computers were a mistake. We gotta go back to the Stone Age.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna arrest this dude tomorrow. Can you be here at the same place, same steps, and we'll do the whole thing over again?
I'm just like, I just gotta tell the world how much I fucking hate hackers. God damn it!
Right. So also, now the plague has shown up at Dade's apartment, and it's basically
on a computer.
Huh?
On a computer. Oh wait, no.
This is where he actually shows up with FBI agents
on a skateboard, as per usual.
Yeah,
threatens him, right? Basically threatening him to kind of be like, help us catch them.
Turn in your friend.
He's telling him that he's gonna let him get away with it if he gives him the disc with the virus for capsizing the ships that Joey had stolen.
Right, he's trying to make a deal.
I'll get you off
scot-free. Right, smashes his stereo to be threatening for some reason.
Yeah,
but
with
it's
a baseball bat.
You saw you skateboard in.
Then skateboards out of there with 3 FBI agents. Let's bust this joint.
But he's like that 30-year-old that keeps hanging out with high schoolers.
Right?
It's like, oh.
Before he leaves, Dade's like, "Hey Eugene, blow me," right? And his response is,
"Thank you."
Thank you. Not the response.
It was really confusing to where I was like, Dade could blow someone better if he wanted to. He wasn't offering.
Yeah.
But I also feel like his pubes would be in a similarly groomed fashion. Mm-hmm. Of the hair just goes up like a hip crease.
He's got that Slim Shady dude on.
Yeah.
So then we get a dream sequence in which Angelina Jolie exposes her nipple. Mm-hmm. Right? Ooh. For all you Mr. Skin people out there, I guess. There's your nipple sequence.
And it's our first of, actually, you said there was one titty exposure. There were 3.
Well, I count, okay, when I do,
the see-through
this is
top
interesting.
She wore while hacking.
Okay, so this is one is see-through, right? And I only count, when I count breasts in films for all the straight dudes out there that
boobs
listen.
To air.
Right, I only count one person's exposure one time.
I see.
Right? I don't do it every time that they open it up because there's some movies out there that we do where it's just if you
too many titties
if you watch an Andy Sedaris movie like Hard Ticket to Hawaii, it's just boobs every other scene and it's the same 3 playmates. So I try not to get that crazy with it. So there's the one, and I don't count because Instagram doesn't count when it's through the shirt.
Oh.
Those people don't get flagged.
Now I can put up my boob pics.
Oh, please do. Just do a mesh net around your dick.
No, and I'm only exposing my boobs.
Okay.
That's what they've asked for.
But either way, I just I find it interesting where it was just she's in a motorcycle jacket and he dreams that she just barges in and
starts making out.
Yeah.
Then he gets arrested in his dream too.
Yeah, then the FBI barges in, they want to have sex with him. And
get his dick out, hurry.
Honestly, this movie is filled with a bunch of really bizarre dream sequences that don't really add anything to the story except for really jarring the audience.
Later
on in the movie, there's a dream sequence where Phantom Freak dreams that he gets arrested by the FBI, wakes up, and then gets arrested by the FBI. And I'm like, why didn't we just skip the dream sequence?
He's like, whoa, deja vu.
Why do all these dream sequences keep happening?
Right.
They don't. You're right. They don't add anything. We already know that Dade is into her. we don't need a wet dream in which he like actually is making out with her, right? We know that the two of them are going to wind up together. We don't need a dream in which she's turned on by the fact that he's dressed in like vinyl.
A leather dominatrix.
Yeah, he's wearing
right?
his like leather motorcycle jacket, even though he doesn't like have a motorcycle.
It's not even
it's like
motorcycle
red,
jacket.
It's like red pleather, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like a red
it's a
leather,
leotard.
yeah,
Okay.
leotard
Yeah.
or swimsuit.
And
And
she
like,
wakes up like,
he is tough.
Oh my god! And then she's like, huh, I like that.
She's like,
right?
we have the same style of haircut.
Yeah, that just keeps happening. So now Angelina Jolie is having a party at her house, right? And all the hackers go there, and
They're just turned on by her computer. They're like,
yeah,
Oh my God!
Look at this
psychedelic
laptop.
graphic displays.
it's so weird.
It's got a whole gigabyte of hard drive space.
Yeah.
It's 1995, and
So
that's impressive.
It said 2.5 megabytes. 2.5.
That's impossible.
It's so
Meanwhile,
weird.
I
now
was
that
just
you look
watching
at
the
it, you know?
movie, and I was like, RAM. Yep.
She's like, I know it's funny. She just comes up and she starts techno babbling. She's like, yeah, I'm thinking about tripling the RAM. And they're like, oh, tripling the RAM.
It came immediately.
This is also a weird thing where Matthew Lillard, which we really haven't covered in this like discussion too much, but it's because out of all the people, he is still being Matthew Lillard as he always is.
He
right?
always is,
Serial
man. I'm
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard.
The serial killer.
That was
Yeah.
spot on, Matthew Lillard.
Honestly, yeah.
But this is where he goes, "Hey man, look at that pooper." And you're like, "Wait, what?"
It was
I
so
said
good.
pooter, right?
Does he say? I thought
He says pooper.
He says pooper.
He says pooper, and then
Right?
I thought
he's
he
like,
said pooter. I swear. Like
no,
that.
he says pooper, and like you think he's about to compliment it, but then he says something like, "If you got junk in the trunk, you might need to throw it away."
Yeah,
like
he says pooper.
razzes on her ass.
I was like,
He
no
says
one
pooper.
has ever been like, "Look at that pooper."
Look at that. Poop.
Yeah, oh, you've just gone around. Look at that pooper.
Look at that
Damn it.
pooper.
Please say it more
serial
Damn.
killer. That guy's so fucking creepy, man. I like so
Yeah, he's
much.
weird.
Matthew
His like
Lillard
dirty
is.
braids and his like.
Do you remember a movie called Senseless?
No.
Okay, it's like Marlon Wayans, right? The one that's always stoned in the scary movie movies.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. He plays a college student who like is from lower class family, or not, but basically poor family, and he's trying to like pay his mom's mortgage at the same time as get through school, and he decides to take this like sensory like experimental drug, right, as be its test subject, right, and it'll increase all 5 of his senses, right. And Matthew Lillard in that film plays his roommate, who's this like just like this, like, but he has like piercings
I
everywhere.
feel like I have seen
Does he
this
always
or
just, like,
parts of
play-
it.
David
like, really
Spade's the
grody
villain in
guys?
this too,
Oh God.
right? But it's a comedy in which he like
David
Pretty
Spade.
much
What a
cheats.
wild card.
Yeah.
Bum, bum.
is
That was
true.
cheap.
But yeah, Matthew Lillard in this one is playing somebody who like has all these piercings and keeps like his whole bit is like just got a new piercing, call it the Prince Albert, right? And he's like, and he's
that's
just
a
weird.
wiener
Why does he
one.
keep just doing weird
Yeah.
shit, right? I think the straightest.
He was a good 90s actor. 90s, 2000s actor.
Yeah,
he was like
embodied
in his
that.
prime.
You couldn't
this
sell
is
that
a-
kind of actor in this decade.
Yeah.
No.
Of that like kind of like grody guy who like you can smell the marijuana through the screen when you
Yeah,
look at him.
you really could.
It's like I can tell this guy doesn't shower just
Yeah. Or he
But
does,
somehow-
but he doesn't believe in deodorant.
But somehow
Like,
gets
oh.
the grody women too. Like,
Yeah.
like I
yeah,
guarantee,
like white girls with dreadlocks would be all
like
over
constantly
that.
has his arm around her, and
If
he's
you-
like, "She's gonna give me some later."
if
And you're
anybody's
like, "All
listening
right."
out there who can
At all,
identify with
please.
this, right? Please let us know. Like, were you into Matthew Lillard in this time period? Like, people like within like from 25 to 35 that grew up with Matthew Lillard, and we're not like I'm talking about anything: Scream, Senseless, this, 13 Ghosts, even like
You know what else?
what? Yeah, I know what else.
Scooby-Doo the
But
movie.
if you were into Shaggy, that's a whole nother.
that is a whole
discussion.
because he actually was very shaggy.
No, he was that
all those
character.
characters
It was
were
very
spot
good.
on.
But no, I'd like to know, was anybody been like, yeah, like if I had met him, because like he's in
And
that
Scream
same
a little
realm
bit, yeah.
is like of Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. Like there are like literal girls that were sleeping with that dude like left and right throughout his entire like
And
where
I
you're
don't
just
get
like
that.
what? Yeah, like he like slept through so many girls where you're like I don't know how you don't have an
I'd
STD at
sleep
this
with
point.
him.
Really?
With Jay?
Yeah, the long-haired one.
That
Yeah.
grody 90s, whatever. Man.
I mean, if he put
Y'all
his
are
hair
nasty.
up, if he put his hair up and towards the back,
He had
so
a
I
man,
couldn't tell
he
it was
wears a
long.
man bun now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into it now.
No.
No.
So,
I'm
I've
just
seen
curious
I'm
if there's anybody
traumatized.
been like, yep, you know, like, because this was a thing.
Yeah.
Like, his character trope is a thing. You know, this pigtails, and you said midriff exposed, and Jinko jeans,
Oh
and
my
like
God.
rolling around in rollerblades with a backpack on that's like too small for you. Yeah.
So close to Heelys.
Ooh,
They would have
Jesus
loved him.
Christ. Heelys.
So, yeah, they're at the party. Angelina Jolie starts making out with her boyfriend that's about to be forgotten in 5, 4, 3,
He never
2,
comes
1. Because they start up their bet of,
like a
we're going to
hackadoodle.
hack. A hackathon, a hack-off.
yeah.
How can you determine the points in this hacker
yeah,
tool?
They're just like, let's see who can harass Agent Gill the most
Yeah.
Right.
before he like kills himself.
But also, wouldn't the head of, like, FBI
Hackathon?
Tory.
Yeah, he's just getting, like,
what
the
kind
hackathon.
of the hack department?
yeah, information security.
He's the head of it.
Hack department.
I don't know. He's like the head of cybersecurity.
He also
Damn it,
has
there it is.
no. I mean, like,
But he's
like
got,
you said
like-
before the FBI admitted that they're like, these kids did.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't even know what we were getting
But
into.
he's got
but,
like zero. They go in and change him to dead.
I mean, this
yeah,
guy.
it's funny because they're like hacking all of his shit. They're like, he's like at a restaurant. They
His
like, go to
credit
his credit
card,
They
yeah.
just put a little annotation there that says "destroy card," and the waiter sees that when he runs the
And
card.
just-
and he's
It's
just
like,
like,
I'm
"Fuck it, I believe it." And he just cuts his credit card in half.
Okay, that's a trope in movies,
Did they
but
hack
like
his brain?
I feel like you
Like-
don't.
Yeah.
You don't do it. You don't do it in front of like him at the table with his guests. Like nobody ever does that.
Without a word, he's just like,
like, right? Yeah, it's just
You
like,
walk up and go, "I'm sorry, sir, your card's been declined." And
Yeah,
it's the
that's
most
how you do
awkward
it.
thing for anyone that ran the card because they're like, "This is really awkward for me as much as it is for you because I have to tell you that your card's declined." And then you have to look at me with like, "I swear it doesn't happen that often." Have you ever had to tell someone their card's been declined?
Yeah. And
Nightmare.
I've been on the opposite side of that too.
Oh, it's scary on both sides.
Yeah.
Usually it's my bank's fault because,
Sure.
making a...
Yeah.
Just kidding. I just
Yeah,
panic
yeah.
and stockpile money.
Mine, it's my fault.
Yeah, well, we know.
But no, you're right. Like, there's this montage of like first his card gets declined, and they put a must destroy, which apparently that was a thing, and I do remember that. But like, usually it was like, sorry, sir, I can't give this back to you.
Okay.
It wasn't like I'm gonna cut it up right in front of you like a vengeful dick.
With like fabric shears.
that he just happens to have on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like go into his record where he has none, and they're like 1 DUI, and they just type in 113 traffic violations
and 13 DUIs.
They don't even list it out. He just gets immediately arrested by a cop, like screaming.
Thank
"You
God
know
it was
who I
like.
am?"
Thank God it was like a black cop arresting the black guy, because then
Oh.
we like it just
No,
got.
racism wasn't invented yet.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
That was like
we
3
waited a few years.
after the Rodney King
After,
riot.
right? But it was New York. It's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Giuliani hadn't stepped in yet, so
Fuck Giuliani.
yeah. Anything
This
goes.
is now the Giuliani podcast.
Yeah.
Well, it's just fun. I'm doing that's a bit. Okay, so like, Giuliani actually hosted Saturday Night Live, a week or two, like basically after 9/11,
Whoa.
right?
Spicy.
And he basically did this whole bit where he made fun of himself, right? He was a cab driver that was driving around New York, and he was just complaining about all the shit that he did, and it would just be like, "Goddamn Giuliani," right? And it's like one of my favorite bits because I was like, he actually had a sense of humor. Now he's insane,
Yeah.
but that's
Well, it
just,
matches the rest
that's
of
what I'm doing,
politics.
right? So now.
They ruined Agent Gill's life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But he's fine, like,
His
and
payroll says that he's dead. Like
right. And then after this, nobody really wins the bet because Freak is like, you guys are tied, right? And you're like,
yeah, how are you gonna judge that anyway? It's just like you're finding.
you don't, because like
Yeah.
if you pull off the hack, you won that round.
But they weren't pulling off the same hack. They were pulling off different hacks.
Right.
So it's like you and I are going to watch bad movies and then do our own reviews and trash on them, and then we'll see who's better. And it's like, well, we're watching different movies. We have different takes on bad movies. It's like, how can you judge that? You can't.
Well, I'm funnier.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll see that one in print someday.
Nope. No, we won't.
That was really mean.
I'm
sorry.
funnier, but he's definitely more successful.
I thought you were going to say gay. He's definitely gay, so.
Their bet had the most absurd terms. Like, if he wins, he gets to go on a date with Kate, and if Kate wins, he becomes her slave. And they didn't really establish what it would
Slave
mean.
meant?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what?
But
what
also-
are the parameters of this enslavement?
Right.
Is it forever? Do I work for you? What? How am I your sex slave? I don't get it. Like what?
Which, okay, so like, bets can be super weird, okay? So, tangent for a second. I was at, so white of me. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings last night, right? And there's two guys,
You eat
right?
food? That's
Which was
disgusting.
this is really sad, honestly. Like, there's two guys at the end of the bar. I had just gotten out of a movie, and I was like, I just want to eat something, but I want to sit down and have a beer. So I'm at this bar, and these two guys are at the end of the bar, and they're discussing being like, you can't give up drinking. You can't. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, if this is the conversation, like, I think he has a problem already, right? And he's like, man, I'll make you a bet. Like, if you can go for like a year, right? Like,
Become my slave.
well, it was weird like this too, right? Where he goes, I can make you a bet. Like, if you can go like a year, like, I'll give you like $1,500. Like, they were actually like well dressed, like they were programmers
That's
or
a
something.
lot of work for $1,500.
Right. And that's what he said. He's like, I don't think I could give it up for that, like that little, right? And he was like, well, I don't know how much, right? And I literally turned to
$50,000
them.
is drinking. Are you
Like,
kidding me?
well, I literally turned to him. I was like, how much do you think you spend, like a week, right? And he's like, like $100. And I was like,
Oh my God, buy cheaper wine.
right?
Drink a Natty
but
Light.
apparently they go out a lot or something, right?
Well, they
and
can
I
afford
was
it.
like, all right, then like $100 a week, 52 weeks, it was like 5,000. How about
Yeah.
that? You know? And he's like, oh my God, that's a great bet. Right? And he's like, well, what do I get? Right? And they like debated for like another 20 minutes, right? And the only thing that they could come up with was like, I don't know, like maybe like, and that's this, like maybe I work for you, right? And like a slave. And I was like, what the fuck? What?
But
why-
Jonathan didn't hear the end of the conversation because he had too many wings and started shitting his own pants.
That is true.
Upside is
like, I gotta
But
go,
it's
I gotta
so
go.
weird, and I
downside is enslavement.
and I
Yeah.
literally had to give them an alternate, like, because they couldn't think of it. I'm like, you guys are dumb, but I feel like nobody can think of like good bets because
He buys his drinks for him for like.
That's what I came up with. Holy shit,
You don't have to
we're
resort to slavery,
soulmates.
No,
guys. You
I
guys
don't want
really
that.
jumped the gun there.
I don't want to be your soulmate.
But yeah, so he's not a slave, but
Yeah.
the movie. So what they decided to like go through the program that was in the garbage file, and I don't remember what like prompted them exactly to like break it down.
Oh, but when they tied, they upped the ante. Now it was like,
Yeah.
Now we have to, like,
if I
discern
win,
what
now
it is
you have to
about.
wear a dress. And she goes, if I win, so do you.
Okay.
Right?
So they're still going on a date no matter what.
oh
It's
yeah,
like-
at that point, it's just like he should have turned and been like,
they're
oh,
just
so we're-
waiting to get a hand job.
Yeah. Yeah. But also,
Like, it's
like, it
happening.
goes back to the slave thing. Slave with dress?
I guess so.
Yep.
But that's when Angelina Jolie has her nightmare that night of him like in a latex like leotard, like,
She's
and he's
turned on by
tucked.
this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then Joey gets out of jail and like gets the
Immediately-
floppy disk, but then he's been grounded for a few weeks. But then he gets ungrounded because his mom's like, "You're pathetic. Get out of the house." Like, it's
Go
so
make some
sad that your
friends.
mom that
Yep.
grounded you also called you pathetic.
You're still on bail though, so be careful.
Yeah. Watch out.
Yeah, they go out. They're getting stalked by some of the bad guys' men, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
FBI or
so
something.
Joey meets
Joey meets Freak,
yeah.
right, at a public park, and is like, "Here's the disc," and then Freak's like just turns, and there's an FBI guy who has an SLR camera
just pointed at him.
over his shoulder,
I know.
like backwards, and is like
very unsubtle.
Right?
He
He's
would've
like-
been better off just taking photos of them straight up because he has
Yeah.
like a tourist in the park, maybe.
Yeah,
but he's
right?
like, Joey,
Go to
you
your
have a
partner.
tail, and I feel like because it's so obvious, Joey should have been like, "Oh, you mean the guy with the camera pointing backwards on his shoulder?" Yeah, I know. He's like always there.
very,
Yeah.
very subtle.
It's horrible.
They just book it.
So now Freak has that disc, and then somehow it gets into the hands of Dade. And I lost it for a second there. Right? Because Dade has the disc.
Well, Freak takes it. And he runs to a bathroom, I guess in the high school, because then later it's all high school
with
students.
The gum.
And he like puts it on the back of a condom vending machine.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he's in jail, he figures out how to like, because they lock up the keypad or whatever on the phone, and he like taps it a bunch, so it sends him to the operator. And then he's like, "Give me this number." It turns out it's Kate. So then he's like, "Kate, the disc is hidden in this one spot. Help me. Bye." And like hangs up the phone before anyone can hear him.
Right.
Which, like, why don't they record phones in jail? I know that's a break
it
of
does. The sign
privacy.
above it said that everything's monitored.
Oh, well, I mean, he did say in that one place that one thing.
Right.
But so she gets it, and then she goes to Dade, and she's like, "You need to help us." And he's like, "Well, I'm on probation because I'm this person." Everyone's like, "Oh, my God, that's you? Wow.
That's when she
15,000
finds
and a 7 in one day? What?"
Yeah.
Some 15,000
But also,
and a
like,
7.
you're going to, like, pull the probation card now. You've literally hacked into the
You've done
FBI
a
server to like for a bet, for a date. Like,
so then they ask him to copy it, and he's like, "I can't do that." But then he ends up copying it, and he gives the disc back to
Fisher
the
Stevens?
Plague, Fisher Stevens.
Yeah, in the best scene ever. This is it.
Yeah.
Right? Where literally he like calls him on a phone and being like, you know, be here at this time in this place. And it's a dark alley with like the typical New York like steam coming from the subways.
Does New York really look like that, or is that a movie
It
trope?
used to.
Because like
It used to.
every single shot of New York at night on a movie, like the sewers are just
Come on,
vomiting
you
gas.
listen to this show. We're always talking about how shitty New York was in the 80s to the 90s until Giuliani, honestly.
Giuliani's back.
Mid-
It was
90s,
just
yeah.
trash
He
and
cleaned it up.
newspapers and boxes and steam and sewage steam is what was going on there.
And the trash was also the people.
But there's still okay. So I haven't been. I'm gonna say still because I'm just gonna bet that like this is just a thing and nobody's found a solution. But at least in 2005 when I was there, or 2008, there was still like giant like orange. They look like candy canes almost, like sticking out of streets. Right? There were like giant sewer vents. Right? They're just giant, and you just drive around them. Like, that's how bad the sewage
that
and the
is
steam
disgusting.
is, right?
Fuck New York.
Right. And, I mean, it is actual sewage waste from, like,
People live there
the
on
Jersey
purpose?
power plant and
That's
stuff.
nuts.
If you watch Friday the 13th Part 8, and, like, that literally is how it goes down in New York sewer tunnels, is they just wash
that's how it
sewage
comes up
and
in
waste. And, yeah. That's all real. Like, New York is just a shithole, right?
So, yeah, emerging on a skateboard from a plume of sewage gas.
Yeah. I'm the plague. You smell like it.
Yeah.
and
I love
he
this
does,
shit.
though. He just, like,
He comes
glides
out of a
in.
fucking, like,
He's
fog-
got a trench
yeah.
coat. And he just, like Dade is holding up a yellow floppy disk.
Florby dorsk.
Well, it's not
Yelly florpy dork.
it's the 3.5 style.
Oh, yeah,
right?
it
It's
is.
like the A drive. Remember A drives?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know. It's okay. It's
Young.
okay.
Too young, I'm sorry.
Oh man, A drives were the shit, and like you pop them in and then you lock them in. And...
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, well they lock on their own, not like
Yeah.
the floppy, the actual things that were floppy. Remember those? Like from like.
Those were just before my time.
Okay, those you had to like stick in, and then you like hit this like little lock latch, and they'd lock in there. These were like you pop in, and then to get them out, you hit the button, and they pop out. Right? Yeah. But these discs, that was like everything. That was like what a USB drive is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, you would
Such
get
a
full
lot
on
less
programs.
storage.
Like you get like Microsoft Office on like these kind of discs.
AOL.
No, that was a CD,
That was on
and
a
you know
CD-ROM, I
it.
know.
It came in the mail, and nobody ever like popped that in. Like I actually,
I've got a disc of internet, son. It's
yeah, you get over 500 hours. I mean, like, do you know how fast that'll eat up like 500, even 500 hours, like on the internet?
I don't want to
right?
budget my internet.
Mom,
time.
get off the phone! It's just,
So yeah, he grabs onto a car and like skateboards
I'm hacking
away
the
into the night.
Gibson. Get off the phone!
This bad fucking dad comes.
I'm trying to watch Outer Limits. Get off the fucking phone!
Oh fuck!
Oh.
He's got the disc.
It was pretty good. It was something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he takes and skateboards in, grabs this disc, and like holds onto a limousine as it just rides off.
Goes off into the smoke plume.
Yeah, and that's that scene.
New York is truly incredible.
Yeah.
Magical place.
There's like a skateboarder grabbing onto my limo. Fuck it, keep driving.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a feeling that was the oil company.
Yeah, I thought it was like
limo.
his car.
Yeah, he
Then
just
why didn't he
decided
come
not
out
to
of a
get in
car?
it.
Yeah, like stick
why-
his arm out. And
Why
like,
are you
"Frump."
like fucking, trailing on a skateboard? Why
And it
don't you-
don't mean money. It don't take fame.
Well, then Dade is watching and he like sees him roll off and like gets past the smoke cloud and then like he starts chasing after it like he's gonna do
Like
something.
he changed his
I'm like,
mind. He's like,
Yeah, right? Because that's what happens is Angelina Jolie gets this disc and then hands it over to him because he decides that he wants to take the heat.
well, he's gonna
I don't-
copy it.
Yeah.
He copies the
He did,
disc so
yeah.
they can understand it.
yeah.
Right.
After they have the copy, they go back and they like read through it, and after
Got it.
hours and hours of furious keyboard clacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they find out that it is a worm because they read the original disc and then they decide they're like we're gonna take the fight to him, right? So this is like the final like they do a bunch of like breaking and entering and stuff like this where I don't know about anybody else, but like this is another trope is like you take the wire snippers and you like cut a fence, right?
But it was like
I
already
wanted to
kind
as a
of
kid
cut.
so
Me
bad.
too, right? I'd see that in so many like '90s movies. I was like, "Fuck, this is so cool!"
Right? You just cut the fence and you go under it or like through it or whatever it was. Like I wanted to so bad for some reason. Just a B&E with like wire snippers. Like that was a thing. What?
Sorry, you said B&E and I thought of a bed and
Bed and
breakfast.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
B&B.
And one of them
Bacon
goes
and
like,
eggs.
Yeah.
The
Bacon
one
and
with
eggs,
the
I love it.
photographic memory goes in and like pretends to be like a flower delivery boy and like memorizes people's passwords by watching them click the keyboard.
This is like the most fun sequence in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like the movie itself for this 1 2-minute sequence was like, let's be fun and actually be funny.
Well, like the thing about it is that like you as an audience member were watching them do stuff and you could actually gain meaning out of it. Whereas in the rest of the movie, you would just kind of had people like furiously slapping keyboards while like these meaningless graphics pop up on the screen where they're like, "Ooh, E equals MC squared." Ooh, and that doesn't mean anything to you. As a
No, it
viewer.
doesn't mean
You're
a
like,
thing.
The computer guy's doing computer stuff, but like when the guy's wandering around like watching people put in their passwords or breaking into a building with the wire snippers, like you understand what's going on. And so, like, for that one moment, like, I feel like the writers just kind of, like, let go, and they're like, okay, this movie will make sense for, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
So they basically set up everything that they need in order to do this like very elaborate final hack.
They tap a phone system to like see when they themselves are gonna get caught.
Right.
And then they find out it's like 9 a.m. tomorrow. They have the warrants out for their arrest, and they're like, let's go. Let's do this.
Meanwhile, like
Let's talk to China.
songs like Prodigy just keep happening and like
Half of the soundtrack is like
I
kind
guess
of
I
cool.
didn't know.
And
You
then
know,
the
you're
other
like,
half is
all
like,
right.
oh. Was that Limp Bizkit?
I don't. Prodigy was definitely one of them. For
Who was
real.
the live singer?
yeah, they're like cool 90s, like, electronic music.
The live singer?
Yeah, whenever they went to
Oh.
Razor and Blade.
Don't know.
I thought it was Limp Bizkit, but
no,
maybe I was wrong.
No, that was like a black guy on the mic.
I don't know. He sounded like it.
Well, it's definitely not Limp Bizkit.
Okay.
I
Fine.
don't even think Limp Bizkit was a thing yet, because Limp Bizkit, like with like the Nookie, came out in like '99. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So they basically, Kate and Dade go and they find Razor and Blade, and they're like, they get them on their side of like, we have to do this because this is happening, and they're like, okay, we'll see what we can do.
Razor and Blade are basically there to rally up every single hacker on the planet.
Yeah. To buy them time
yeah,
whenever
'cause,
they
like,
do
they-
the big hack.
They have that like that hacker TV show, which I guess is a big hit, because they're loved and they're doing their EDM show at this other
And then like a
cyber
program
rave.
is gonna pick them up. So it's like
Yeah.
a TV station is gonna physically promote.
They talk about they're like, oh yeah, there's an actual legitimate TV
Well,
station.
they're on a tower during that hacking montage.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that part. I was like, just do it from the ground.
Yeah.
Sit down.
You're not wrong. So now they go to a Union Station, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where they're gonna hack like via a bunch of payphones and stuff. This is also this is like the final climax, but it's just not exciting at all.
It's not. It really is because like
it's a bunch of people standing in front of screens going, "Hurry!"
in rotating phone booths.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh god, I'm gonna be sick.
I know. I was like, when did they start spinning? What attraction is this?
It's like 20 minutes of like them
I need to go to
slapping
Union
keyboards.
Station.
Yeah.
And then being like, release the virus. And like every time they're like hacking something, there's some absurd graphic like Pac-Man starts chewing up code.
And then there's
other,
Cookie
like,
Dennis
Monster.
Nedry pops up going,
didn't say the magic word?
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
really did
like,
wish. I was like, where is Dennis?
And just everything's just this like fade in, fade out montage. And like I said, they're like
The
they're
plague is inside of the like Tron room, being like, I gotta
it
type
is the
faster.
Tron room.
And then, okay, I didn't know if this is like actually what computers looked like and all their memory
Nope.
throughout that time, but it was like everything was in its own cube. And my only other reference of like mid 90s technology is literally Jurassic Park. And when she's going in and it looks like she's just
There
like,
are so many. This
you know, in Jurassic
weird
Park when
science?
she's going through the
Yes.
computer and it looks like she's just looking at the seating arrangements for a wedding. Like that's every time I thought that's what it was.
Because that's a Unix
I was
system. I know this.
Like, yeah, I know this. I know this. She's
Yeah.
like, ta-ta-ta.
No.
She looks
That was
crazy.
every single 90s
That's what it looked like.
representation of like hacking or into the internet was like
Cubes.
you navigate it like it's like the fucking labyrinth.
Yeah.
Right? And then once you get to like where you were going, like, because a lot of them are also like VR, right? Where it's like, oh, let me wear the
also there
gloves
was
and the
early
headset.
VR in this too for a
right?
scene, and I was
Because
like,
in
no.
the hacking, he's wearing some like virtual boy like headgear.
He's got
or
this
some
little
shit.
glass that has
Oh,
like
that
a,
wasn't Virtual Boy.
I know, but
that was
like-
like Google Glass.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Either way, he's wearing this little headset, and like it's to represent like I've got to hack in, and when I hack, I like go through like it's a goddamn like maze, like Johnny
Yeah.
Mnemonic style, right? And you just go through, and you're like, I found the cube that is the thing, and then once you get in, you like open it up, and like there's a skull usually, like it's the same shit. It happened in like. The first time I remember it was like Weird Science, like back in the 80s, as they like hacked into the system in order to like create the girl.
And computers looked like magic every time they were like visually like
Literally
displayed,
just
yeah.
like you were going down like a
crazy light shows and you're like
Yeah.
drifting through this
like at the end of 2001.
really, yeah.
Yeah. Which also
Like
is a
tunnel
reference.
of microchip.
Penn in this movie, his name is Hal, like Hal 2000.
Oh, I always feel like Hal is the weakest reference anything can do.
It's actually
can't
I'm
do
wrong.
that
It's
for
Hal
you,
9000,
Dave.
But whatever. Yeah. Sorry, Dade.
Dave. God, it's full
So
circle.
they're hacking in. They're in phone booths that are like the teacups at Disney. Like I don't know
Real.
what's going on, but and then Fisher Stevens is like going on like giant like monologuing like rants, being like, "You think you can beat me?"
Who's he talking to?
Right?
He's
Like-
just screaming like, "You can't beat me, you kids!"
Well, because
also
he's
serial
the one.
killer. He
Huh?
tagged out. He was like, "I'm not feeling up to this." Like he has
Oh,
a
yeah.
freak out or something. So serial killer ducks out of it, and then Joey takes his place.
No, like Kate is like, "You should sit this one out, weirdo."
Yeah,
Like,
he's like having a
literally, he's
panic
like-
attack.
he's
But also, was it planned?
I don't
Because
know.
it seemed planned.
Yeah, because then at the end he does that big reveal on the screen with where like Razor and
I don't-
Blade project him.
I don't
I
think,
think
it
it
was
was
planned.
planned.
No, because I can tell you why I
Oh, but
know
then
it's
he's
not.
like-
because he needs to use the code word of like everything's trash, trash,
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah. He is
Are you
yelling
getting
that.
what I'm saying, moron?
It's in the garbage file.
But that was really just another inconvenient truth,
yeah.
or not a convenient.
What is this, a
truth.
Michael Moore film?
No, I've just referenced it
No,
once.
yeah,
and I
there's a
wanted
lot
to do
of
it
convenient
again.
coincidences in
Yeah.
this movie. You know, where it's like, oh, now I got somebody to pin the crime on, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So they do like hack so they download the worm. That
Yeah.
was the whole point.
Yeah.
Is like
They download the garbage file that was containing the worm.
right, which was the proof. But I'm like, wasn't the proof what they got before they started the montage?
No, because the proof they had was an incomplete file, so they couldn't technically pin it all because they basically pieced together all the information to understand the full picture, but they didn't have the full picture
So
before,
it
so
would
they
look
needed
like
the full picture to turn them in.
What they had was evidence to show that, like, oh, they are in possession of the worm, so it wouldn't have worked, right?
Yeah,
pretty
Yeah,
much.
because they only had bits and pieces.
Yeah, they were like,
Right.
okay, well, we can see the worm is doing this and like taking like tiny amounts of money from
But
every
they need to
transaction.
be able to trace that, like, look, the worm is here before we even
Yeah.
got our hands on it.
Yeah.
Like it's been implemented a long time ago. I get it, right? So,
Which is weird. I don't know why they didn't just ask Joey, like, "Hey, where did you get this in the first place?"
but
Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
but
why
also,
Joey just lead them there.
right. But also at the same time, like
There are so many garbage files.
there's this whole sequence of like the boats are actually tipping. Like,
Well, because it
they
was
show
going to be
the
executed
they're
at like 10
halfway
a.m.
through the like Da Vinci virus doing its thing, and
Right?
yeah.
like
Which I think that the writers just probably
Also,
wanted
what a
to add
shitty
tension
name.
and action to it, where they're
Yeah.
like, the boats are tipping right now, and I'm like, we haven't even seen these boats the whole movie.
I haven't
you
seen
see,
the
like,
boat at all.
We get like
3
3 seconds of
Yeah.
footage of this boat that doesn't even look like it's tipping. It looks like
And
it's
it's
just
like,
going
I
on
hit
its
a
merry
wave.
way. You
Yep.
got the creepy Da Vinci virus in the background going like, row, row, row your boat. Like,
Oh god, so
he
bad.
owes me $500,
Yeah.
this actor out here trying to be as creepy as possible.
right? But it's just it's so weird and so dumb because like you're right, it adds tension that we didn't need, and you would think that like maybe the hackers would be trying to possibly, I don't know, save the planet, hack the planet, but also save the planet. You know, like because they know that this is his plan and it's going to execute today.
See, I think this is when my brother walked in
Yeah.
and like saw what I was watching, and then was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "Hackers." And then his immediate response was, "Hack the planet." And he'd never seen the movie before, and I was like, "Did I miss what?"
You missed an entire generation. Is your brother older?
He's 2 years older, but like he'd never
That could
seen
be
it.
enough, I
But he
guess.
also is in IT, so that could just be something like
Well,
within like his
Yeah,
nerd
It's the same
realm.
thing as I didn't get to mention, like, well, I kind of did. I touched on it, but like the fact that like every single kid that I knew was like playing the pool prank like it was funny back at my school.
Yeah, like,
I'm
nobody paid to see this movie, and yet we all know the lines. We
Right.
all know hack the planet, hack
Yeah.
the Gibson, mess with the best, die like the rest. Like
Yep.
those all became part of our pop culture
It
consciousness.
really kind of just sounds like really bad, like school cheerleader slogans when they're like,
Mess with the best.
Die like the rest.
Go, fight, win.
touchdown, woo! Like that's kind of it. That really is
no,
weird.
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
So they hack it. They get in. They get the file. They get it onto the floppy disk.
But they get arrested.
That's right. Agent Gill is right on their tail. Right.
Agent Gill
It
also
seemed
like
it
seems
took
very stupid.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying. It seems like it took forever for them to get the Union Station.
Well, because also like,
Yeah.
so Agent Gill.
Well, they
like,
had the red herring down there where they're like, they're down
Yeah.
at Union Station.
it still seemed like it took like 20 minutes prior to that.
One thing we missed from all this, like Agent Gill getting hacked and like constantly like taken advantage of, it's like he doesn't even take steps to be like, I think someone's messing with my stuff. It's just like, my credit card. Ugh. They called me dead. Dang it. Like he doesn't even make the connection of like, they're probably fucking with you. Yeah, it really is like that.
No.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is very much
So
like
they
it is.
catch them.
They arrest them.
No one sees Dade throw a floppy disk in the trash.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, sure.
And then as
Bright
he's
yellow.
getting tossed into the back of the police car, he's like basically yelling in like code.
It's all
to-
trash.
Yeah, to Serial, like who didn't get arrested because he wasn't with the rest of them.
He was probably on the pooper.
Yeah, he's like hack the planet, like it's all trash, trash, and it's like basically if I knew that you were like, oh, we're gonna download a garbage file, I mean like,
Yeah, you did get the files from the trash. I know.
yeah.
Idiot. Like,
I
and he
wouldn't have
yells it to
connected
the
it.
cops.
I wouldn't have connected it. I'd
Yeah.
have been like, yeah, you got it,
But
right?
also, like, how does he know what trash cans they passed? Like,
Nobody knows.
He's just going through every single one.
Conveniently, he goes into the trash can where the disc is, gets the disc.
Also, I don't think Union Station would have looked that clean. Like, let's be
You're
real.
wrong. You're not wrong,
Yeah.
probably. It's no Coco. It's. I don't know. I've never seen that movie. There's like, I shouldn't have even done that reference.
That makes no sense. Coco takes place in Mexico.
I thought there was a whole like.
There's like a spirit station, but it's not like.
I thought it was like actual L.A. like station.
No.
Oh, damn it!
Watch a film. It's
I don't
free on
know.
Netflix.
Do you actually watch movies? Like,
Not good ones.
It's the worst.
So, Serial uses Razor and Blade's ability to broadcast throughout the world, and does a major broadcast throughout all televisions everywhere and reveals that the Plague, aka Eugene Fisher Stevens, has been doing this entire plot in order to basically blackmail, or I don't know, because he's also like threatening. That's what I mean is like there's the worm and it's stealing money, but he's also kind of using it to hold. Like to be like, oh, if you don't, I got 5 boats that are going to capsize.
Yeah, well, so the thing is that he had the worm, and he was going to use the worm to embezzle the money. But he wanted to create the Da Vinci virus as a distraction, and he was also going to pin it on somebody, and he happened to come across the hackers to pin it on them. So
it's
the
kind
whole
of convoluted.
It's funny because the Da Vinci virus is such a bigger fucking hack than the like actual salami slice scheme he had going on, because like. Jesus Christ, capsizing 26 oil tankers, and
it was only like 3 or 4 out of the 26.
Yeah, it's very like James Bond-ish, like villain.
It's so over the fucking top.
So the whole thing was like he capsizes several boats, but that happens when the worm is executed, so then they can make their escape during the big capsize.
Meanwhile, like I mentioned, it's like it's very Office Space, and like they never would have gotten caught in that movie
It's like
if they
Office
didn't like
Space,
move the decimal point.
Yeah,
you know?
It's an Office Space with an extra distraction.
Yeah.
Instead of burning down the office, they capsize an oil tanker.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
I mean, as you do, like you gotta raise the stakes a bit.
But also, God, I wish I would do that. This is physical proof that I'm going to do that someday.
Oh
to a
yeah,
big employer that I do not have access to.
hack the mouse.
Distract them with cheese.
Yeah. Next week, you're just denied access to all your email.
Oh, what? I would be fine.
Because you have a platform.
God, some relaxing shit.
Ooh, I get to be investigated? Ooh.
Yeah. It actually happens. It's really scary.
Oh, funny.
From so I've heard. Yeah. So then, serial killer, he goes on like the big air thing and exposes everyone. And then it shows the lady and the Plague.
Right.
Well, they're like in the worst bed. Like that's a bed that like
what is it, like a
this,
trapeze?
Yeah,
canvas
it looks
bed?
like some like weird fucking like 2001: A Space Odyssey like set item.
So to tell
You're not
people,
wrong.
it's like spiky corners on 2 opposite corners, and then the other 2 are clear. So I guess that's how you crawl into the bed. But that's literally like
this is like a '90s version of a waterbed. Where it's just like as annoying.
Did you ever see
you
like
should never have one?
Yeah, it looks
really
like a
kind of
Stanley Kubrick bed.
Yeah, it's very like it's intimidating, and it would definitely be like that one random piece of furniture that they like do a shot of in a movie to be like that furniture is going to kill me.
Just did.
Yeah, no, they did have sex. They were very
Yeah,
but
close.
he's not there.
Together.
So basically,
But it looks
she's
like that
watching
bed
the
was gonna
broadcast.
murder someone.
He's not there.
He was there. He
was
was sleeping
there,
with
yeah.
her, and then like she's watching the
She sees
broadcast
it.
and freaking out. She's like, "Oh my god, we're busted!" And she turns around and he's gone like a ninja. She didn't even notice him leave.
He just roller skated
He's
out.
like Batman leaving like Commissioner Gordon.
The windows
like, where did he
open.
go? There's like a little billowing curtain.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that part in Batman 1 where like Michael Keaton is
All
like
right.
no, like she's got the like file in her bra or something, and he like raises. Do you remember this? Where he like raises his cape up. She's like, and like it just switched over to the next scene. It's like you totally like fucked her and like took the file. Do you remember this? It was like weirdly weird.
I gotta
All right,
rewatch it.
nobody.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like that. He's
And
got
then
that
she just
Batman
wakes up
slick.
in Bruce Wayne's like bed and he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then like he's gone and he's got a disguise on like he's an old man and he's like, I'm Mr. Babbage trying to escape to like Panama.
I'm Walter Thornburgh.
My name is Walter Grant Thornburgh, the famous financier.
He's the right age for it. Yeah, and then he gets like
Right? But
handcuffed
it's-
on a plane.
Okay, so it's weird because
When you're on a
Agent
plane,
Gill
you're over
is on the
international
plane,
waters.
right? Handcuffs him from behind, right? And
What's he
then
gonna
like
do?
he knows Agent Gill. Why is he still playing this like stewardess? I'll never fly this airline
Yeah.
again.
He's like, dude, it's me, Gil. Like
Like,
I
you don't have
know
to put
you
this-
personally.
I'm disgruntled.
I know you're wearing a white wig,
And it
you're
literally is just like old version of the Plague. It's not like old and
Haircut.
a female.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm in blackface now.
yeah, right.
That would have
In
been
real
better.
racist.
Agent
Really-
Gill,
really
he would have had a problem with it.
Yeah.
Probably not though.
And then
He's
we
the
flash
whitest
over-
black man agent I've
Agent
ever
Gill
seen.
is too aloof to care about anything. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm dead. Fuck.
I'm dead.
Oh, don't go there.
But that's how he acts. Like,
He kinda
what do you
does.
mean I'm dead?
Yeah, it is. I was like, oh, we're getting into racist ground. Yeah, and then like our final scene is Angelina Jolie and Dade, and they're like on their date, and
They
she's
got
like, I still
released.
think you would have looked better in a dress, and he's like, you look good too.
Not really.
And then he's like, what do you say to go swimming?
She looks like the Buzz Lightyear girls
Yeah,
in the
she
parade.
looks, and sensational.
Sorry
Or the
if you
play
guys
parade.
haven't seen that parade.
Gay parade.
Yeah, that's accurate. But like, yeah, she's
5,
just in
4,
like
3,
a puffy
2, come.
dress that like he's like, you look good, and I'm like,
Yeah,
eh.
it's a lot of
Nah.
angles. It's
Yeah,
like silver.
she's got garter belts on.
Yeah.
But then they like switch over and they're in a pool, right? And you can tell that these actors have been in the pool for a while because they're out of breath, treading water hard. Right?
And like their tiptoes are like, if they're on tiptoes and their heads are like looking directly up towards the sky, is how like they can breathe. That's it. And they're like, it's fine.
So there's two things in this movie. This is one of them, and then earlier, the sprinkler system, which I don't believe can be hacked.
Why not?
Do you believe that the lights in this building can be hacked?
Oh, yeah, because they're manual
Yeah.
switches. Yeah.
No.
You can't hack that with
Nowadays
the
with automation, yes.
Yeah.
The sprinklers, yes.
But 95,
But yeah,
no.
these are all manual
Sprinklers, no.
circuit connections. Yeah.
So the sprinklers is a trope in movies, which doesn't happen. And the reason I know this is because I worked on sprinkler systems.
Oh.
Sprinklers do not go off together. Ever. Okay?
Oh, they go off because it's like what a
There's
metal that like when the metal gets heated
Okay,
up to a fire
so
point, it
you're
like
right.
basically expands.
So if
and
you look at a
releases the
sprinkler
switch.
head, a nozzle head, right? It's you can look at the direct center of it. It's a red vial, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when that liquid boils, it sets off that head and that head only, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with like it used to be wax.
Also, why would you
the wax
run
would just
a
melt,
test?
right?
Like I'm gonna test water everywhere.
I'm gonna
Great.
spray water all over this school.
But that's how sprinklers actually work. So, like, the movie trope of, like, you put a lighter up to it and then all sprinklers go off and people are in a panic.
No, it's just that
not
one.
a thing. It literally will only sprinkle on where the fire is.
because
Okay?
it's a heat response.
Right. Because if you did it throughout the entire building, you'd actually be destroying more than you'd be actually saving.
Yeah.
Like, as the water just destroys all computers or whatever in any building. So that's a huge myth that I don't know, like, still happens to this day every once in a while.
I mean, I would have believed it until you told me that. I
I'm
didn't
telling
know
you,
about the technical details of a sprinkler system.
I swear to God, I was a fire alarm sprinkler technician back in Maryland, and this is what I did. I worked on the Capitol building in D.C. Like, that's what I did. And I can tell you for a fact that is completely false. So for him to actually hack it, you can't hack that. Like, you can literally hack the fire alarm panel to like make the fire alarm go off.
Yeah.
Right? But you cannot make sprinklers go off. Like, you just can't. Right?
Just
So-
like you kind of can't connect the light switches to make 3 buildings say crash and burn.
Yeah,
exactly. Right? But that's another weird thing. There
Yeah,
is a
friends just
shot
do
in
this
this
for them as
movie
like
for
a-
no reason of the Twin Towers, and like lights are just going on and off like Speedy.
Okay, see, I noticed that too, and I was like, whoa, what is happening? And then I like followed a trail of lights like going down the hallway. It was just a sped up shot.
Oh,
It was
no,
supposed to be
definitely
like a
was sped up
sunset shot, but
right?
like it just was 2 buildings.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really
It's
stupid.
iconic. It's just there to freak out anybody who was like old enough to remember 9/11.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you saying you're not?
I am. I was like 9 when it happened.
They
so-
filmed it in 1995 knowing that 9/11
I
would
was
happen.
just old enough to like understand 9/11 when it happened. My girlfriend's a little younger, and she was watching it with me, and like she was too young to like really understand what it meant. And like I saw the Twin Towers, and I was like, I've seen it.
Wait,
I've
how
seen
old
it.
were you?
Spirit. I was 9.
You had an 8-year-old girlfriend?
No, what? What?
Wait, you said my
No,
girlfriend
right
was.
now.
Oh, your
Hackers.
current girlfriend.
Watching
Oh,
hackers.
when I watched the
God, follow.
No,
the
my girlfriend was too young to understand 9/11 when it happened. So like she didn't like when I saw the Twin Towers. I was like,
what's happening.
I felt like I saw a ghost in this movie, and she was just like, yeah, it's those buildings we used to have.
We
that-
see it a lot.
You know?
Like Chud had
Yeah.
the Twin Towers. Like every once in a while, it'll come in, and I mean, it's one of those things where you can't blame the film because the film didn't know that was going to happen. But like every once in a while you watch it and it is this weird haunting thing that like no other things on film get that kind of, you know,
like you see it and
at
you're like,
all. Right?
Seen a spirit.
Oh.
Right. There's like other things in film that have been torn down long ago, you know, like all the time. Right? But this is the one thing where you're just like, like every time you see it, you're like,
Dark history.
Right? You could literally watch Pearl Harbor and not feel as bad as watching the towers in any other film.
I think it's just because we didn't live through it.
Probably, I guess. Yeah.
We didn't have the initial, like, because everyone knows where they were.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
There was even a song that asked you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, so that's Hackers.
I know they have that. They
are.
close out with like the nerd getting laid. They recreate the pool scene from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, they're just in the pool. Don't dream it.
They're making out underwater. I'm like, yeah, the nerd got laid. That was the whole point of this movie. God, I fucking hate that trope so much. Where it's like,
I would never get laid.
Like the victory of the nerd is always to like finally get pussy. Like, yeah, you got what Chad had all along. Like, good for you. You're a hero. You saved the
Should've
world.
just had pink hair
from an ecological disaster. But the real victory is that you finally got to lose your virginity.
And you made friends.
Right? Now you can tell your mom you're not a virgin.
You fucking nerd.
Right? So, you've been listening to recent episodes, right?
Yes.
Right? Do you know the new rating system that we created?
All right.
Jaws
what's
the Jaws thing?
Okay. Explain it for me / the listeners.
Hold on. Okay. So I got this, right?
Oh, God.
All right. He's getting some old VHS tapes that he's handing to me for the people.
All right. Have you seen any of the Jawses?
I have seen the original Jaws about 1,000 times.
Okay.
I saw the
Jaws
3D ones. Yes.
There you go. Right.
Fantastic film. Love it.
All right. Have you seen Jaws 2?
Yes, not as good, but watchable.
Right.
That's
and it's got Roy
basically the
Schneider,
whole
and I mean
setup.
it's okay.
Okay.
Right? Have you seen Jaws 3?
Abysmal.
3D.
Disgusting.
Right?
A fucking joke of a movie.
Dennis Quaid, Leah Thompson, Jaws attacks an aquarium, right?
Yes.
It's actually SeaWorld.
Oh,
I remember.
SeaWorld,
Good. Go
right?
Jaws.
But then, Jaws the Revenge.
Okay, you know what? I'm in the minority here, but I actually think that Jaws the Revenge is better than Jaws 3.
Oh, shit.
Just because Jaws 3 is so bad.
Okay,
that
but, so you've seen them all,
Yes,
apparently,
right? I'm ashamed to say.
Right. But I think you kind of understand the rating system.
Yeah.
Like, you have a difference of opinion on, but, like, Jaws the Revenge.
All right, I'm going to follow
really
the tropes,
think,
but, like,
right?
Jaws 3 is not considered as bad as Jaws
right.
4.
And when you really think about Jaws the Revenge, like, at what point is like a shark pissed about its last 3 family members?
Vengeance.
and
He's going to
actually
chase you
taking
across
revenge?
the world.
Yeah.
He follows an airplane.
And so historically bad that Michael Caine regrets turning down accepting his Oscar to film this film. Okay, that's like the level of disaster, right?
Yeah.
So that's the rating system, you know, like Jaws being like 4 stars versus Jaws the Revenge is 1, right?
Okay.
So that's how we go. So, Jarrett, where's Hackers lie?
I would say Jaws 2.
Okay.
It's not as bad.
I was going to say Jaws 2 as well.
It's just kind of violently 90s. Oh, I haven't used violently in a while.
You haven't.
Ruthlessly 90s.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say Jaws 2 as well, where it's like, if you had put a little more effort into it, or
Yeah.
maybe had made it a little more fun or funny, I actually would have thoroughly enjoyed this
Yeah.
film.
I'm going to give this a Jaws 3.
Oh.
Okay.
Because I hate this movie that much. Because, like, if you think about it, 2/3 of this movie is just people furiously smashing keyboards and screaming while like graphics and formulas blast all over the screens. That's a good 2/3 of the running time. This film could have been like a Saturday morning special if they cut all that out. There would have been about like 40 minutes of footage.
It's called Code Lyoko.
I honestly
Great
feel
cartoon.
like I remember there being more like that, like, you know, tunnel like graphics like navigating through.
Yeah.
Are you just
than
getting
there
it
was.
confused with Swim Fan? Because wasn't Swim Fan basically the same thing? Like cyber stalking and blackmail.
But no, there wasn't like navigating through like an actual
I don't
system.
know. I never saw
Floating through
Swim
the
Fan.
visual
Because that's what I
representation
mean.
of the
It's
Tron.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
very Johnny Mnemonic, where it's like
Yeah.
we put on the goggles and I have to navigate through with like hand gloves that look like, which they did for some reason have a
One
Nintendo
scene-
Power Glove?
Yeah, in one scene, the guy's wearing like a Nintendo VR setup.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
like-
they had the
no, he
VR
had
thing,
controls.
but they actually, when they were arresting Freak, and they confiscated all his stuff, they were like the detectives were
I
playing
didn't
with
see
the Power
that.
Glove.
That would make sense.
Yeah. So, all right, you're gonna go Jaws
So
3D.
I'm gonna go Jaws 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it just also not just that. Besides all the stupid techno babble, which I fucking hate.
Yeah.
I don't think I liked any of these characters except for the villain, who's the shit. Like the
Yeah, he's
skateboarding,
so much fun.
trench coat wearing middle aged man. He's fucking cool. But like all the protagonists, they're just kind of like dicks, kind of doing their own thing, double fisting cigarettes, like making fun of each other.
Double
You know,
fisting
like
Yeah.
they just
Well-
they weren't really righteous people. They just kind of bumped into this.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
they're like,
absolutely right.
"Well, I guess we gotta save the environment from this, disaster because we were trying to like literally they got into this because they were showing off trying to hack the Gibson computer.
Yeah.
Besides that, they really didn't have any moral grounding. They
True.
weren't really. They were pretty light. Like their whole personality was that like, ooh, I'm edgy and I understand how the science box works. It's the
Wrong.
90s.
Wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Jaws 3. I'll take it. Somewhere
Yeah.
in that in
Give it a
between.
Jaws
line,
3.
Okay. Yeah. Jaws 3 in pre-production. So we had a major opinion about this film. Walter hated it, but some people love this film.
Yeah, I've seen
And
the reviews.
We ask that they give us 5. So here we go with Gimme 5. This first one's written by K Cuss 13. All right, which like at some point when you watch a film like this and you actually do a 5-star review, you'd figure that you would write a better handle for yourself, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be Dr. Doom.
Yeah, exactly.
Call me Dr. Doom.
This one was written in November of 2003, titled "This Movie Is So Good." Hackers is one of the coolest movies ever. There are great characters, costumes, and computers. There is the evil guy, who is incredibly cool, who rides around on a skateboard. The main good hackers, who all have souped-up Mac laptops with
They
mad,
don't.
crazy cool graphics
At
on them.
all.
And the crazy Japanese people as well as
What?
the people that don't really fit into the hacking world.
They're like the mainstream
Razor and
version
Blade.
of
Yeah,
the
they were
hacking world.
beloved. They were the most popular characters in the movie.
Razor and Blade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hackers is very much fun to watch, and anyone who didn't like this movie may be lacking in taste in awesome movies or a sense of humor or both.
sense of
Incredible
humor.
fun.
There's not a single joke in this entire film.
Yeah.
No, there is one. It's
Where?
when Matthew Lillard is showing his ass crack.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
Pasty white
besides
ass.
that, there's just like there's no comic relief in this movie.
Not
which
really at all.
I think
Yeah.
that's kind of
Which I expected from Matthew Lillard. Like,
Yeah.
part of me wants to say that I remember it being funnier. Like, there are things that I thought that I remembered about this movie where I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get crazy graphics and like weird navigation through like the system. None of that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remembered this movie differently, and I think that is the kind of like the motto of this entire episode is like, we remember this way differently.
Yeah.
Except for you. You've got this. So, the next one, written by We Have 6 Feet. All right. Written December of 1998. Titled,
Ooh, that's a young one.
right? Titled,
Or an old one, sorry.
3 years
Young
after
compared to the movie, but
Right.
old compared to where we are
So,
now.
like, saw it on VHS.
Yeah.
Like, rented it.
Oh, yeah.
Titled,
Or if they were rich, a DVD.
oh, not yet. 98? Maybe.
Maybe. That's why I said if they were rich.
No, not yet.
Okay, fine.
I know. I worked when they actually transitioned.
Whatever.
Titled Coolest Hack Movie Yet. So, I mean, literally,
Only
before
hack
this is like
movie yet.
Matthew Broderick's War Games. So, like, what do you want? Goes on to write, the only movie apparently written by someone with a cyber clue. Hackers is a sexy, thrilling movie about some very cool hacker kids
Neither
who
of those
actually behave like hackers.
No, they don't.
Angelina Jolie is hot.
She's all right.
Jonny Lee Miller is too. Did you write this, Walter?
okay.
5 stars. Last
That
one.
was it.
Yep, that was it. Deal with it.
Angelina Jolie
we
is
haven't
hot.
mentioned Angelina Jolie and Jonny Lee Miller married after this film, then divorced 4 years later and are still friends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
for
Interesting
them.
little tidbit, right? You know, all that pool making out. Like,
Yeah.
I bet they're in there. They're like,
It
I'm
got them
shriveled.
wet.
Yeah. Last one, written by Astelkirk in 2003, titled A Must-Watch for Fans of Computers.
Is anyone not a fan of computer? That
Yeah,
is like
what the
below
hell?
the age of 60?
Like back then, they're like, "Ooh, a computer."
God, I hate a computer.
Even in 2003,
Yeah.
like, you're good. Like Microsoft Windows 2000 already
Yeah.
came out. Like, we're pretty good. Plus XP and like NT. Remember
I am
that
a computer fan.
too, right?
Yeah.
Fucking hate them. Goes on to write, it's very clear that Hackers was not a good movie. I mean, the acting was bad, and so was the production. However, it had one shining element going for it. It is the only computer-related movie worth watching. When you look back on the year that was 1995, you see a booming industry. So why not make a movie to capitalize on all of it? This was clearly an attempt made by United Artists. However, it failed miserably as a movie, but succeeded as a geek cult legend up until even now, the year 2003.
You know what? He kind of has a point because so many of the like quips and lines from this movie like weirdly became part
You're
of
not
our,
wrong.
like pop
Yeah.
culture, even though nobody
Your
fucking
brother.
watched it apparently.
Yeah.
Like Hack the Planet.
He finishes up with, the bottom line is, if you're a fan of computing and understand a little about them, you'll love this movie. If not, hey, it's still an easy target to constantly make fun of. Yeah!
So I picked that one.
I know. Here I am, like
That's a good one.
23 years later, like taking a shit on this
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, so that just about does it for us. Walter, do you have anything to plug you want to tell people about?
I mean, I already talked about CGB and Asshole
Where can they
Patrol.
find all of CGB?
So, yeah, they can find us on SoundCloud. We are CGB_OC. Same goes for our Instagram, CGBOC. You can find us on Facebook. It's just CGB. It used to be Come Guzzling Beasts, but Facebook kept shutting down all of our stuff.
Can't imagine why.
So we've recently rebranded to CGB. It's like NWA, you know, white people can say it in public now.
Right. No, and honestly, I think that is probably a good decision on your guys' part because, like, you're not going to be able to put that on a lot of marquees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, well done. And I think it actually poses the question and has a conversation of being like, what does CGB stand for? And it's like, well, here we
I got
go.
a story for you.
Right?
Well, there's a 10-year-old right behind you, so let me pull you aside.
Right.
And of course, I'm always going to plug Rocky Horror at the Free
Oh,
Cinema.
yeah.
Second Saturday of every single month, or
And
second Friday.
this month coming up in October,
We have 2 shows.
Also, the
Yeah.
last Friday, the Halloween show,
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, absolutely. Please come to that.
You get to see me naked. You get
yeah, you
see
get
if-
to see me rolling around in a wheelchair. It's a lot of fun.
You don't get to see me at all because I don't show up.
One day, one day I'm gonna.
Come on, you want to see me strut my stuff?
He can be Brad.
Which
You'd have
one's-
to take it from Corey's cold hands, cold dead hands.
Yeah, and I also do
like
Rocky,
literally the best Brad I've seen. Like
Uh-huh.
I've seen a
He's
lot of
good.
shows. Like he's fucking. There you go, Corey. I know you're listening.
And yeah, I also do Rocky at Midnight Insanity in Long Beach.
Oh, really? I didn't
yes.
know that. I personally didn't know that.
The
So-
the first and third Saturday of every month I'm usually there. Not in October due to Dark Harbor, which I
You're doing
perform
Dark
in.
Harbor
Yes.
as well?
I'm a scary
Look at this
monster
guy.
every October. I have such a fucking media presence.
Yeah.
I don't realize it till I'm like plugging it all. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be acting in Dark Harbor, and I also do MI, and I also do Chaos, and I'm on this podcast. I got a YouTube
Jeez.
show. I'm a rapper.
Way more than us.
well,
It's like, where can you catch us? Here.
and
Parks, in my bed,
I'm just
making
gonna-
out with my cat,
just gonna quit my job so I can make web
taking
media.
pictures with my cat. high-fiving a cat. I'm so obsessed with my cat.
Yeah, your cat's gonna be famous. We're gonna put him on the show
He's
one
so
day.
sexy.
He should be famous.
He is. With all his genetic mess. God, he's such a mess.
All right, well, that's it for me.
Awesome. When it comes to us, ladies and gentlemen, this is your first time listening. Please make sure to follow.
It'll be their last time.
Yeah. Please make sure to follow all social media at Bombs Away Show. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you had something that you think we missed about this episode or any past episode, contact at bombsawayshow.com, and we'll be sure to, I don't know, list your email, like sound it out, like read. That's the word I was looking for.
Sound it out.
Sound it out. We like to sound out things.
Jonathan sounds out.
Yeah. And we'll be sure to make sure that we read that comment on a future episode and make sure that your voice is heard. You can comment on all the social media as well. Don't forget that our live show is coming up for October, and that I can actually say out loud now. Yes, first time. Your episode. It's going to be 1989's Death Spa.
Oh.
Death Spa, for sure. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy. If you're hearing this, tickets should be on sale now at thefreedacinema.org.
You know, if we ever do another live show after Death Spa, I would love to be on it. We can finally bring Galaxy of Terror down. Since I wasn't going to do it because that show was just too niche. But, you know, I'd never even heard about Miami Connection until you did the live show.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And, you know, so, like, it's cool if you have an audience that are experiencing this weird, old, creepy, fucked up movie for the first time.
Absolutely. Well, and that's we're wrapping up here, but I did want to put out there that, like, I think that I'm really starting to, as we have a lot of downtime at work, right? And I've been showing a lot of people that were attending the show, but also work with us, a lot of other B movies during our downtime. And I'm starting to realize that, like, it's absolutely a blast, a joy to, like, watch it with an audience. And I think that that's what we want to keep bringing to the people, at least to Santa Ana, to Southern California, is this ability to keep watching these bad movies with an audience, laugh together, make fun of it together. Like, it's okay if you, like, cheer or scream or, like, make comments at the screen. Like, it's all fun. It's just like Rocky Horror.
Yeah,
like,
but except for you're coming up with the quips on the spot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So we welcome that kind of stuff. So any suggestions you or anybody out there that's listening have for future live shows or just even future episodes, let us know. There you go. Thank you for joining us today, Walter.
Absolutely.
This is a
very
blast.
happy to be here.
Love to have you back on. And you can keep throwing movies at us as well.
All
Okay.
right, great.
That just about does it for me. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jarrett.
And which one are we gonna do?
Hack the internet. What? Hack the Earth
Hack
planet?
the Gibson.
Hack the
Just
planet.
hack. I don't
Fuck
know.
Angelina Jolie.
Mess with the best, die like the rest. Hey guys, John here from the Bonds Away podcast, and I'm here to talk to you about the place where we record. That's right, the Frida Cinema. What is the Frida Cinema? Well, it's a program of the Long Beach Cinematheque here in California, and it serves Santa Ana and neighboring communities as a non-profit art house cinema dedicated to enriching, connecting, and educating communities through the art of cinema. But it's so much more than that. Guys, not only do they screen amazing films here, but they also hold out-of-this-world special events. And when we're talking about special events, we're talking about shadow casting. Shadow casting, if you don't know, is where actors perform in front of the movie that you're seeing, and they have costumes, and they're doing audience participation, and it is just an amazing event. The shadow casting that we do here is films such as Rocky Horror, or Little Shop of Horrors, or Repo the Genetic Opera, or even The Forbidden Zone. Wow, The Forbidden Zone. Like, when's the last time you saw that? Or maybe shadow casting isn't your thing, but what about rooftop cinemas? That's right. Right on our rooftop, we do special screenings of throwback movies that you love, including Ghostbusters, or the current Beauty and the Beast, Guardians of the Galaxy, or even Jurassic Park. And that's not the only thing with these rooftop cinemas. They also have special people that show up, special guests, including the Orange County Ghostbusters and their vehicles and their costumes, or maybe Jurassic Park and the Jurassic Park Jeep. You ever gotten a photo with any of these things? I have, and it's because I was there at these events. So if you're looking for special events to go to, or like out of this world, just crazy audience participation things like Scott Pilgrim and with lights and sound and like things that you've never even seen before, go to the Frida Cinema. You can check out the Frida Cinema locations, filming, schedules, and everything entertainment-wise at www.thefridacinema.org. Or you can follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/thefridacinema and on Instagram and Twitter at the Frida Cinema. The Frida Cinema, for the filmmakers, for the film goers, and for you.
This has been a production of Big Bulb Entertainment, executive produced by Jonathan Young. For more media and information, visit us at www.bigbulbentertainment.com. Big Bulb, what's your bright idea?